All right, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. In John 5:39, then Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 30. I hate that we continue to do this. Why?
Why?
Alright, search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and there they will testify of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not come to you that you might have life.
Mm-hmm.
I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you.
Mm-hmm.
I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another should come in his own name, him you will receive.
Mm-hmm.
How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that come from Elohim?
All right. Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 30.
I went by the field.
You went by where?
The field of the slothful,
Yeah, what else?
and the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
Pause. Now, the word for slothful here is just a man. You know, say Mr. Charles is just a man. But y'all know what that word for a man void of understanding is in that verse? It said it's a man void of a heart. Void of a heart. So if he's void of a heart, what would that mean he would be void of? Let's look and see. Matthew chapter 13 about verse 15. And after Matthew chapter 13 verse 15, Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 23.
Yeah, Matthew
13 and 15.
It says, for this people heart is wax gross.
It's wax what?
Gross.
Hold on. He says wax what? Gross. Let's see what he means when he says heart is wax gross. Y'all know he quoting the prophet Isaiah in this particular passage. So their heart is wax gross. So when we look at that, it's to be made stupid, dull. Go ahead. I mean, you ain't got no heart at that point. Go ahead.
And their ears are dull of hearing.
Dull of hearing.
And their eyes have closed.
They close.
Let's say anytime they should see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should hear.
So if they would understand with their heart, that means they'd be a man void of a heart. Now let's look at Proverbs 13:23. You can hold Matthew 13 because we finna come right back to it.
Much food is in the tillage of the poor.
Much what?
Much food is in the tillage of the
What
poor.
else?
But there is that is destroyed for want of judgment.
When we look at tillage, that is a tilled or untilled or fallow ground or freshly plowed land. But you know the word for poor here, what you think the word poor here would be? When you see poor, if you're looking at it in English, what you think it's telling you? It's much tillage. You think it'd be humble? What you think it'd be? You would say somebody destitute or in lack. In actuality, the word there is the rosh. And you know what that means?
That's hard. That's not hard. I don't know what the Rosh is.
The head, the chief, the leader, the alphabet, the character of the rosh.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Rosh.
No. That's literally what it is, the front. So he say that there's much food in the land of the head. That's what he's telling you. But then he says that there's one that has is destroyed for want of judgment. So when we look at destroyed in this particular verse, it is safa, and it means to be snatched away or to destroyed or to caught up or to be gathered. Now, have you just seen that in Proverbs 24, it says there's a man, he said he went by the slothful, the land of the slothful and the vineyard of the man lacking of understanding. So he went past a man who in his inward parts had no heart. So let's look at Matthew chapter 13. What verse is it? I want to start at. I don't want to start to. I don't want to read everything. Matthew 13 and 18.
It says, hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then cometh the wicked one and catches away that is which sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the
Pause.
wayside.
See what he just told him? Now he said he went past a vineyard with a man who had no understanding, he had no heart. Then he just told you that there's some that are destroyed for want of judgment. Whatever that was, it was snatched away. Now look at what he just said right here. Say, when somebody hear the word and don't understand it, Say the wicked one come and snatches away which was already sown in his heart. So you were already man void of understanding or void of heart. You didn't really know anything, and then this man comes through and snatches it away. Get Hebrews 2:1.
Snatch.
It said catch away.
And I was asking because it said that like on mine. It said like foot at the footnote. It said snatches.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's supposed to say.
Yeah, snatch that away. Which is going back to what you seeing in Proverbs 13. Because remember, because I ain't going to focus on the first half of the verse too hard, where there's much food and the tillage in the land of the poor. There's much seed or word in that land, in that ground. That means this is a fertile area. It's going to produce something. You know what I'm saying? That's why it goes into that last verse in this parable about the seed that fall in the good ground produce fruit. Some 30, some 60, some 90-fold, because there's much food that's in this tillable ground. Because Hamashiach is, the ground is the field, the seed is the Son of Man. There's much food in that ground, so therefore it's going to produce it, because the fruit is being produced from the head. Because if you abide in him and he in you, it'll bring forth much fruit. But the people are not bringing forth no fruit because your ground is sour. There's nothing in there. So you can't get nothing out of it. You destroy from that warrant of judgment. And then he's talking about this vineyard has no heart. So if it has no heart, it has no word. It has nothing to be able to produce anything. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how that goes. Come on back over here to Proverbs chapter 24. We'll be expanding on that a little further and a little longer. Give me that.
No.
I want some. You don't share. They don't know. We're in verse 31.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof.
Pause. Go ahead.
And the stone wall thereof was broken down.
Now, when we look at thorns, this is it's chemashon, and that's a useless plant or a thorny plant. It's a plant that has no value or no profit. And he said that vineyard and that land was grown over with thorns, which made it useless. So let's go back to Matthew chapter 13 and pick it up about verse 24.
It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field.
Mm-hmm.
But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From where then have the tares? He said unto them, an enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest ye gather up the tares, ye may root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest I will say unto the reapers, Gather ye together the first the tares, and bind them in bundles.
And do what with them?
And burn them.
And what?
And gather the wheat into the barn.
Now drop to verse 36. Now let him explain it.
It say, then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into his house, and the disciples came saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And he answered and said unto them, He that sowed good seed is the son of Elohim, or son of man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked ones.
Yeah.
The enemy that sowed them is the adversary. The harvest is the end of this world. Mm-hmm. And the reapers are the Malachim. Mm-hmm. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this age.
Now let's come back over here to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 12. You gonna crush the baby? Now let's sit back and look at it, right? That man who is void of understanding, his vineyard has useless nettles or thorns covering its land. And what we're going to sit back and look at is that when you're dealing with sinners and transgressors, for all intents and purposes, the Yah are useless. They serve no cause and no purpose. Does anybody know of a group of people in this book who are called useless? The sons of Belial, because Belial literally means worthless. When you're reprobate, you're worthless. You serve no purpose. When we get to that verse 33, 32 in here, when he say he saw and considered it well, and he looked upon it and received instruction in Proverbs 24, you supposed to sit back and look at these people and receive instruction of what can occur to you if you are worthless and useless. This is one of the instances like how the book describes about when you have to kill somebody for disobeying the word, it's that others might learn what not to do. See, this is why that's why a lot of people don't want to correct nobody or rebuke nobody or to explain the judgment on somebody for their actions, because they don't want the people around them to be scared or not like them, I should say. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem, because you have to do it. How else are the people going to learn? How else are the people going to learn? They not going to learn if you don't do it. Yeah, they not going to learn if you don't do it. How they going to learn? How they going to learn? So let's read this, Isaiah 10 and 12.
It said, wherefore it shall come to pass that when Yahuwah hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart.
He'll do what?
Punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the esteem of his high looks. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent.
Now what you think he mean when he say by the strength of my hand I have done it? See, let me show you something, right? What that is? Romans chapter 4. See, this is what a lot of dudes, when they get it and being brutal, this is what their problem is. Say, by the strength of their hand, I've done it. And by my prudence or my discretion or my wisdom, I brought this to pass. 4:1. Romans 4:1.
What shall we say then?
What shall he say?
Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, have found? Or if Abraham were justified by works.
If he was justified by what?
Works.
Is this man just say right here, he said, by my hand I have done it? And by my wisdom I am prudent? Go ahead, listen to what he tell you, right?
He had whereof to esteem, but not before Elohim.
Not before Elohim.
But what said the scripture?
What does the scripture say?
Abraham believed in Elohim, and it was counted unto him for righteousness.
Then you just send me something where dudes say the concept of faith ain't nowhere in the book. So I guess he gonna overlook believe then. You say, Bemoan and Amat just mean firmness and faithfulness. Well, clown, that's the same thing. You can't be firm in something you don't believe. You can't have hope in something that you don't believe. Abraham had a concept of faith. He did not see his wife having no baby.
Support.
I'm supporting a man who telling me what he gonna do for me, who has no need or want or desire for me. Because let's not get it twisted. Y'all didn't need Abraham to do nothing. He could have pulled anybody he wanted, just like John the Baptist told him. He could have rose up children out of stones to Abraham if that's what he wanted to do. That man could make a baby come out of donkey's butt if that's what he wanted to do. I think people forget that. That man can do whatever he want to do. You know what I'm saying? That man can snap his finger and say, Dog, appear. And Dog going to appear just like that. Some people be like, that goes outside the realm of science. That man is not bound by that. Do you know what I'm saying? That man spoke everything into existence. And that's what it was. He said, let there be light. And there goes Yahusha. There he is. Bomb. And he said, you know what, son? Here's what I need you to do. Now go tell them to do it. That man can make the water dry up just at a word. You can try all the science stuff. It evaporated and did all this here. But at the end of the day, he said dry up and it dried. Do you know what I'm saying? That man say die and you dead. That man say live and you live. He said you dumb and you dumb. You know what I'm saying? You know how many people, I just told my little cousin that, man. 99.9% of the people that he come across on the internet have no idea what they talking about when it comes to the word. None whatsoever. Because this how a dude just came at me today. They were arguing about something else. The brother who I know, he gave him 2 instances of this is about Hamashiach, but they basic. So I just gave him one just to see his perspective. He said, that's not a prophecy, that's a proverb. I said, well, proverbs are dark sayings, aren't they, sir? Gave him the verse, and I said, dark saying is a parable, which means a parable is a prophecy, because it has to be explained. He has not responded to that. All he wanted to do was do that to deflect from the fact you don't know what it means. It's okay if you don't know what it means. You know what I'm saying? Same way a brother would coming at people about celebrating birthdays. Do you know what verse that he used to justify why you sinning if you celebrate a birthday? Does anybody know? That's the one he used. I say, brother, it does not say that Job's children were killed for celebrating their birthday. It said they had a feast for the day that they were born. And then Job went and got them and sanctified them. He said, let me make a sacrifice for maybe they have sinned or cursed Elohim in their heart. I said, it doesn't say that they were killed for celebrating a birthday. Where did you get that from? Oh, every time in the scripture somebody celebrated a birthday, they died. What does that have to do with your point? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Then you know what else thing he said? Well, show me where Israel kept the custom of the heathen. We don't have enough time to show you that. That man say everything the heathen did, you did. So that's not a good argument either. Because if I can show you that Israel sacrificing their children to Molech, you think they ain't celebrate a birthday, nigga? Or we don't care about sacrificing no children to fire. But a birthday, I dare not do it. It's like for real though. This the mentality the nigga thinking. You gonna serve idols, but you think they just gonna be like, I'm not celebrating a birthday. We told the nigga like, man, you want to celebrate your birthday, that's your thing. I'm indifferent. If you want to do it, hey man, just don't put no candles on your cake, man. Blowing out, trying to scare off no false gods, nigga. I don't care. If you don't want to do it, I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? I told the nigga, he say it's self-exaltation. That's pride. That's a sin. I said, well, what about the feast they made for Mordecai then? Because they made a feast to honor him who the king wanted to honor. How many feasts can you read in this book where somebody was honored? Is that self-exaltation? Is that pride? Is that a transgression now because somebody made a feast with somebody? So you telling somebody they sinning when you can read the book that Job's sons had a dinner, a birthday dinner? Because that's what they did. They had a birthday dinner. I'm not finna pick at nobody for having no birthday dinner. I can read in this book they had a birthday dinner. Shoot, nigga, go out to eat then. You know what I'm talking about? You want to buy somebody a gift? Buy it for them then. Like, I don't understand these niggas, man. So you buy somebody a gift for their birthday, you're a heathen. Same time this nigga playing with himself, telling lies, doing all manner of stuff. I just told you last night, nigga said what? Is it a man's nature to be monogamous or not? So they try to basically say it's a man's nature to want to sleep with multiple different women. That mean he carnal then. So you know he ain't a y'all. Because you said nature. What is nature? That's flesh. So clearly, if your nature is to sleep with multiple different women, that's not of God. His nature wasn't to sleep with multiple different people and make them his wives. He only made one people his wife. And you can't tell me that Elohim is a ruach and not a ruach, so therefore, you know you ain't got no business having. Niggas be killing their own arguments for stuff with their own words, don't even know it. Don't even know it. It's not a man's nature to have. This dude say if you got a lust problem, get you another wife. That's gonna cure it. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying if you got a problem with heroin, smoke crack. Do you know what I'm saying? You'll get off the heroin, now you're on crack. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what I told somebody, I think that was you, I was telling you that, right? Niggas always talking about the weeds from the earth. I don't see you niggas smoking opium. That's from the earth, and it has the same qualities as marijuana. It's a depressant. Whether it has THC in it, I can't recall, but both of them are depressants. And opium comes from the earth. I ain't talking about heroin now. I'm talking about opium, little red ball. My homeboy used to smoke it. He crush it up on the weed. He smoked the weed and the opium. He's like, you don't want none of that thing? And I'm like, no, I don't want none of that. I'm good. He was from Tennessee, man. That nigga like to smoke weed and opium. I'm like, I'm good on that, my nigga. I don't want none of that. No, it's a red ball.
No, I'm talking about another example like cocaine.
Oh, yeah, you don't see nobody advocating. Now, cocaine is different. But cocaine is manufactured. Like a coca leaf, that's the natural state of it. When you get the cocaine, that's a whole nother process. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what he was saying, like, niggas don't just be using coca leaf, but niggas do be using it.
Some people do, but I'm talking about it's not advocated. You don't see dudes running around talking about, get you a coca leaf. Need to get you some coca leaf.
Niggas say they smoke weed because they ain't know, the death rates of alcohol, the death rates of marijuana.
Oh, I mean, I know all that. I mean, I ain't never seen a nigga OD on weed. Never. You know what I'm talking about? And you never will, because if you get high enough, you ain't doing nothing but going to sleep.
That's you eating treat.
You know what I'm saying? That's all you gonna do. You gonna smoke. Next thing you know, that nigga sleeping. Somebody want to shave your eyebrows off and paint makeup on your face. Now it's a fight afterwards, because I seen somebody do somebody like that. They shave cut eyebrows off. Like, I don't see how niggas play like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't play like that. And if Cub would have got up and swung on everybody, they'd have felt like he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the concept of things that people do. Just say you want to get high. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to use that cap of it come from the earth, because there's many other narcotics that come from the earth that I don't hear y'all clamoring to be using. The reason why I use opium, because opium can be smoked, and it has the same byproducts as marijuana as far as how it affects the body. And I know that from watching a nigga firsthand, not no science. I'm talking about watching a nigga who smoked it. You know what I'm saying? We used to smoke weed and hash. I don't see too many dudes around here talking about smoke some hash.
But ain't that from weed?
Huh?
That's from weed.
Hash come from weed, but it's a little different though. Hashish a little different than weed though.
That's kind of the same.
It's kind of the same, but it ain't the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that hashish had you like this here. I smoked plenty of what weed had. That joint had you extra high. You know what I'm talking about? You ready to fall asleep on command. Yeah. If niggas smoking hash, and it was a stoner. You know what I'm talking about? And it was hard to get hash. So when I got it, I dropped all of it on mine. Straight up. I ain't know too many people who had it. Somebody open that door.
Uh-oh. The mic in the bed.
Yeah, Abraham did have a feast for Isaac when he was weaned off the breast. That is correct, Kira. He did do that. Let's read that for him. Genesis 21. They're gonna leave. Little Mike, she brought you. She told me she was gonna bring you. What was happening, Little Mike?
Like, I don't know you no more, nigga. I done missed 3 chapters.
Little Mike.
Man, you gonna act like that for real after all we been through?
All we been through. All the snacks we done shared. What's up, Little Mike? My man. What's good, man? My man.
What's up, man?
I'm telling my boy, he look grown now, man. Yeah, I'm telling he finna be 5 years old.
That boy lip finna get dark on him.
Him and Leah, man. That junk done crazy, man. Genesis 21 and what? 7 niggas ain't babies no more. They ain't even toddlers no more. These niggas small children. Dang. Well, how you got big so fast like that, man? Where the time went at? I remember when you were just a baby. Now you're a grown man. You're a grown man. My man. What that Genesis 21 and 7. Let's see what happened. They threw a feast for him for getting weaned. I wonder if that was a sin.
Genesis 21 and 7. It say, and she said, who would have said Abraham that Sarah would have given children suck? For I gave born him a son in his old age.
In his old age.
And the child grew.
And it grew.
And was weaned.
Weaned.
And Abraham made a great feast.
Now when you wean a child, what you just did?
Fed him.
Huh?
Took him off, feed him. Fed him.
You know, you took him off the breast. They threw a feast for him coming off the breast.
Like weaned off, not weaned. Like, I get what you're saying, but weaned
off. Took him off the breast. He's a grown man now. Like I told you, like my homeboy said, because we talked about this yesterday. Like my homeboy said, his baby mama told him he like needed hoes. No, what he was saying, well, what she was saying, and there's a lot of men like this. All men want to feel that they're needed. You know what I'm saying? That they serve a purpose, that you need them around. But when she was talking about he like needy hoes, she was referring to you want a woman who needs you to do pretty much everything for them. See, some men don't want to deal with a woman who might not necessarily need him. That you more than likely you're a compliment to her, and that y'all compliment one another. Some dudes want a woman who she needs him to buy her clothes, pay the bills, all of that she's not self-sufficient. You know what I'm talking about? Some women like needy dudes. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that they have to take care of. You know what I'm talking about? It inflates their ego and makes them feel better that this person needs you. You know, when you look at your child, you know your child needs you. You know what I'm saying? Your child can't function without you. You got to feed it. You got to clothe it. You know what I'm saying? You got to house them. They need you. They look to you for everything. He said he sat down and considered. He said, you know what? She right. Because he said he sat back and considered every woman he had dealt with. And because his baby mama told him once them women didn't need you no more, they did you dirty and cut you loose. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who don't need you necessarily is not going to do you dirty like that, because I didn't need you from the jump street to sustain me or to validate me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get in relationships with people because they need the validation and they need someone to prop them up. Very few people are looking for somebody who is their mental, maybe financial, because you may not necessarily be financially equal to everybody you come across, or intellectual equal, or a spiritual equal. You know what I'm saying? They want it right here so they can see that they need me to give them that word so I can feed her and help her become this here. Dudes like that. Because their insecurities and self-esteem is not where it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So when that's the case, you're going to look for somebody under you. And sometimes you're going to meet people that may not be equal to you, and you might genuinely just like them, and you just going to help them along their way. You know what I'm talking about? But you gotta ask yourself that. Do I like needy people? Somebody who needs me, that I need, because this makes me feel better about myself, that they need me and they look to me for everything. Because some people don't like that. I know I don't want to deal with somebody who needs me for everything and is looking for me to tell them what to do and when to do it and how to do it. You know, you're grown, you're sufficient, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Figure it out. I can give you the baseline of what you need to do, but if you figure it out. Do you know what I'm saying? Some people don't like that. I think that's just how the society is turned now. Everybody holds your hand and everything. See, in our generation, nobody held your hand. They told you what was required of you. Figure it out. Do you know what I'm saying? I know we say this all the time. Kids come to that college looking for stuff, hadn't even looked it up for themselves. They were waiting for somebody to look it up for them. When you have the same mental faculties and abilities to find information out, but you'd rather somebody tell you. You know what I'm saying? And some people like that. Some people who preach the word, they like to keep the word close to their vest because the people need them. So then you have to steady come. It's kind of like I tell you when you hustling. Niggas won't tell you how to cook no dough. Because if I don't tell you how to do it, then you need me. Because you steady got to come to buy work from me. If I teach you how to cook it, you don't need me anymore. I'm your equal, therefore you won't come to me. And that's what people like. Keep you here versus putting you here, which is what I was telling y'all last night. If somebody coming to put you up on game, so you right here with them, they think you trying to get over them. They can't understand that because people don't do that. People out for self. That's just the reality of life. Come on, man. Come on back over here to Isaiah 10. AJ, where you going? Where you start at? Verse 13. Go ahead.
For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by the wisdom, and by my wisdom I am prudent. I have removed the bounds of the people.
He removed what?
The bounds of the
people.
We
was in Romans 4, my bad.
Well, you want, yeah, you do. I still have it.
I just want y'all to understand what he's saying. He said by his strength he did it. And that he removed the bounds of the people. And this is the mentality of a lot of people. So we read it last night in Galatians. If favor come by the law, then Mashiach died for nothing. You trying to say you doing this on your own volition. Look what Paul's going to tell you though.
We have verse 3. Mm-hmm. For what said the scripture? Abraham believed in Elohim, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. Now to him that worketh is rewarded, but not reckoned of grace, but of debt.
Of what?
Of debt.
Go ahead.
But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifies the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
It's counted for what?
For righteousness.
So then you sat back and said you did it by, he says by strength of my hand I've done it. That's what people get a problem with. Then he say by I am prudent. He say by my wisdom I am prudent. What is that there, man? Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 1, man, by verse 18. And after that, James chapter 4. Oh man, we got to leave. Lee shouldn't be working the door, somebody. Lee working the door.
Oh, it's a stern side eye.
What did it know? Stern. She said, that's why I said we should switch. She said, I'm not the door lady.
1 Corinthians 18, 1 and 18.
1 Corinthians 1 and 18.
For the preaching of the stake is to them that perish foolishness. But unto us which are saved, it is the power of Elohim. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise.
You do what?
I will destroy the wisdom of the wise.
And what else?
And I will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent.
Now we're talking about somebody, and we're going to see this in this Isaiah 10. Now he's going to bring to nothing this wisdom of this prudent. Now, of course, remember now, he's talking about the children of Assyria in Isaiah chapter 10. But you know, it's always stuff underlined.
And he talking about them feeling like they smashed.
Yeah, they smashed them. Yeah, they did their thing. They holding it down.
And that was really y'all giving them over.
You said it's my wisdom that did it though. I did this here by the strength of my own hand. But guess what though? We moving past that because that's how people think they smash and sin, by their own strength. And we're gonna see another verse where it talk about that. As forth as destroying strongholds, most high willing we get to it. Come on with it, man. All right.
Where's the wise?
Where's the who?
Where's the wise?
And where else?
Where's the scribe?
Where's the scribe?
Where's the disputer of this world?
Where are they at?
Have not Elohim made foolishness the wisdom of this world?
Is it not made foolish? And you're going to sit back and see that he made the Assyrians foolish by their wisdom, because they thought it was their own skill in war that got this done. Come on to James 4, man, about verse 6. I see you, boy. Yeah, he threw up in your mouth again? Taste a little vomit over there? She said he threw up in her mouth. Yeah, I learned that lesson real early when Lil Muffin was a baby. Don't hold him over your head. Don't hold him. She didn't throw up in my mouth, but she got my shirt though.
4 and 6
Yeah.
of James. But he giveth more grace, wherefore he said, Elohim resisteth the proud.
He resists who?
The proud.
He resists who?
The proud.
And give what?
Giveth grace unto the humble.
And what else he do?
Submit yourselves therefore to Elohim. Resist the adversary, and he will flee from you.
He'll do what?
Flee from you.
That's one thing you have to realize. And that if you resist someone who's of the adversary, they will get away from you. You know what's the best way to resist somebody that's of the adversary itself? What's the best way to do it? What's the best way to resist the adversary? Whether it be a person or whether it be the adversary himself.
Don't put yourself in a situation where your adversary is present.
I mean, there be sometimes you can't avoid that. Because the master couldn't avoid the adversary when he came up out the wilderness after fasting. How do you make the adversary flee? Because he said resist him. You got to stay to the word. You know the best way to get a sinner from around you? Go to talk about y'all. I bet they get missing. I've done it. I told you I used to do my homeboy like this up the road. I wasn't on the word then though. And then he used like to come to my bunk playing. I go to dropping knowledge on that nigga about some stuff. And they be like, bro, I'll holler at you later, man. You know what I'm saying? I used to get him from around my bunk. Because he like to play early in the morning too. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, bro, I ain't with all that playing. And I figured out how to get him to stop playing. Go to talking about stuff he didn't want to hear. You know what I'm talking about?
What you was hitting on?
All manner of stuff.
Light come, darkness flee.
Yeah, I mean that at the same token, but if you're looking at somebody who's adversary against you, sometimes the adversary, they ain't necessarily trying to get you to commit sin all the time, but in this instance, that's what he referred to. But if you want to get people from around you who with that rallies, hit them with righteousness, they get missing every time.
I'm gonna go make you sick later.
That's what you got to do. How did the master make Satan go away?
It's all gone.
He started dropping word on that nigga got missing. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga come to you talking that crazy stuff. You know I don't do nothing to you know that's not godly, baby. That ain't godly. We don't do that. I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about how we can be righteous and set apart. It ain't what on a nigga mind. I bet it get missing. Let a nigga come around and talk about he wants some booty. You go to talk about that. I don't believe that's of the Lord. I'm trying to keep myself. That's not of the Lord. You be firm on that nigga like this. Hey, man, this whole crazy man. I'm finna go around the corner with these hoes putting out. She around here talking about the Lord. I don't want to hear that.
Talking about being chaste.
Being chaste and pure. I'm trying to save myself for the Lord. Keep your hand to yourself. They don't want to hear that. Let's say straight up and down.
That's definitely good for women.
Yeah, all the
He's
time.
trying to text you, trying to get in your drawers, and
Hit him with like this here.
trying to go to church with me.
That nigga get missing. Like this here, nigga trying to get in your drawers. Have you read Numbers 35? I'm trying. That's what I'm reading right now. You're reading it.
For real, yeah.
Like this here, tell him Jesus loves you,
What you doing tonight?
but I don't love you enough to let you defile me.
Proverbs 3.
Been to turn around and been like what Levi them said about Dinah. Am I a whore? Will you defile me? You will not defile me. I need a covenant. You know what I'm talking about? That's your $98.26. What you gonna do about that? I better nigga stop talking to you then. Yeah, better stop talking to you. That same token, if you got a woman, you got a woman be with that rally, she talking about this, that, and the third. Be like this here, look here, woman. I can't do all that there, man. Because you got some women aggressive too now. Yeah, don't think just men just aggressive. You got some women want some loving too. You sit back and tell them, if I put my penis in you, I got to put my last name on you. I don't know if you able to stand up to the job. Because this is what my wife going to have to do. Yeah, you go to talk about what she got to do. She be like this here. Find me a ragged nigga standing on the corner. I won't talk to him no more. He stand for something. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it is. If you want, or if it's just something like this here, man, you have to stand on the word. Devils will get missing if you stand for what's right. They will get missing. You know what I'm saying? If you don't stand for what's right, then you're entertaining devils. You're entertaining unclean spirits.
something.
Go ahead. Isaiah 10. Somebody picked him up.
Shoot, I ain't no problem. That nigga scream, no problem.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the difference. Was it his pride just hurt?
Man, they all tell. That nigga scream, nigga been like.
Nah, I know his pride would just hurt just then though. His pride would hurt. No, go ahead, finish that James for my bad.
Gotta hold it, fool around.
As you should.
We at 8.
Go ahead.
Draw nigh to Elohim and he will draw nigh to you.
Yeah.
Cleanse your hands, ye sinners.
Do what?
Cleanse your hands.
Why?
And purify your hearts.
Why?
You double-minded.
Why?
Be afflicted.
Why?
And mourn.
Why?
And weep.
Why?
Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness.
You already tell me, he say you double-minded people got to purify. We talking about last night, that flip-flopping. Not, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick what you going to do. If you're going to be evil, just be evil. Because he said a good tree can't bring forth no corrupt fruit. We talked about that not too long ago. If you're going to be evil, be evil. If you're going to be right, do right. Don't do right 35% of the time and wrong 65% of the time. Or right 85% of the time but wrong 15% of the time because your 85 is canceled. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do right, then do right. If you're going to do wrong, then just do wrong. Don't be hot or cold. Pick a side. Rock with it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what got Yasharal in trouble numerous times. They ain't want to pick no side. You know what I'm talking about? We don't know. What did Elijah tell them people, man? What did he tell them?
Serve all.
But before that, though, he said, how long will you halt between what? Two opinions. Two opinions. Two ways. Two different thoughts. How long you going to halt? That man said, you need to pick one. If you're going to serve y'all, serve y'all. If you're going to serve ball. But don't be around here talking about, I love y'all. Playing with ball, though. You know what I'm talking about? He just say, go stay over there with ball and ball out. Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Play with basketballs, footballs. Say you like balls. You stay on over there. You already know there got to be something wrong with ball. Look at his name. This nigga's name is Ball. And them people like to do, and in the name of ball, these people commit a lot of nasty, disgusting things in the name. He might have a different name, but it's the same guy.
It's how it's spelled. It ain't even how you say it. It's how it's spelled. They just don't look right.
Ball.
B-A-A-L.
Ball.
I
thought it was Baal.
Some
Bell.
people say Bell.
Yeah,
Either way it go, ball. And they having pagan, heathenistic orgies in the name of ball.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? Ball P.R. You know, like they said, messing niggas. That's probably where R. Kelly like to do all that stuff. Nasty nigga peeing on people and all this type of stuff. You know they seen that junk with Bill Cosby, man. You seen with Bill Cosby, what that lady name, what you call her? His publicist. She went in. Because, you know, them white folks say they trying to try this nigga again within 60 days. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, let it go. You know what I'm saying? The jury was in there for an extremely long time. They ain't come back with no verdict, man. You ain't gonna get nigga old, man. If he raped them women, he'll pay for it. And then I seen that white woman. I know he ain't raped that. If he raped that, he need to go to jail anyway.
You white women?
This white woman who he been charged with. Matter of fact, if he willfully had sex with her and she agreed, he need to be locked up. What?
Now they said she came with some skinny clothes on.
Boy, that's
dressed like somebody had been sexually assaulted in her life.
that is one ugly woman. I'm talking about she look like Quagmire. I'm telling you.
Where did I find this guy?
You ever seen the one episode when Quagmire dad came back and he dressed like a woman? Boy, that nigga look like Quagmire. You know the get dude? That's who she look like. That's an ugly white woman. Man, if he had sex with that white woman, he need to go to jail for that. You Bill Cosby, boy, you could have did better than that. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't even finna convince me. He had to drop no pill on that woman, man. Shoot, boy. She gonna be happy anybody show some interest.
I am.
Did y'all shoot? Google it after the Sabbath. You see what she look like. I seen the photograph. I was offended. You know what I'm talking about? I'd have been on the jury like, oh, I know that nigga ain't do that. I know that nigga ain't do that. Nigga, that Bill Cosby, nigga. Nigga, that Bill Cosby. Nigga, Camille ain't no bad looking woman. She's supposed to leave him just on the fact you had sex with that. I'm gone. Boy, that's an ugly white woman. I'm not trying to be funny, boy. Y'all ain't seen her. You seen her. That lady ugly, boy.
I haven't seen her, I just heard it.
Oh, you ain't seen? Oh, man. She got a square face, long chin. You know what I'm talking about? She's the type of woman, her mama couldn't even, her mama just was mad, baby. Well, you look at her, hope you're just going to try again. Just going to try again. All jokes aside, man, People don't like to say it. You know, people be birthing ugly children. They got to be an ugly child before they become an ugly adult.
I don't know, son.
Boy, very few people grew in the ugly. And some people grew in the ugly.
They want to say.
Yeah, all babies ain't cute. I've seen some ugly children in my time. You just keep it moving. You don't say nothing. Yeah, some people, they wasn't no ugly baby. They wasn't no ugly babies. They grew in the ugliness.
Yeah,
But most
I think it'd be more so like that.
well, no, most of them came out that window. The boy I done seen some boy like, well, you know what? Hey, congratulations. You don't want to hurt nobody feel your baby ugly. That's messed
I
up.
don't feel like nobody with kids really feel like they do.
Some people do. They just not gonna say it out loud.
They ain't gonna say ugly, they'll say my baby funny looking.
Yeah, most of the
I've heard
time.
people say that they
Funny looking.
Yeah, that's a funny looking baby. You hear niggas say, when you niggas say my baby funny looking, nigga like, dang, why I procreated with this nigga.
All that labor them women be thankful for what they got.
Shoot, some gonna be thankful, but they be like, this here. Let's get what? Just like, okay, y'all seen that video of that girl in Arkansas? They say been sleeping, talking about that she real ugly, but everybody in Arkansas been sleeping with her. The baby, she got a baby. Baby look just like her. And now I'm talking about baby eye is literally way over here. Ain't nobody be like Shawn Michaels, a wrestler, eye is way over here. But that came from wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like he got an injury and it messed his eye up, and his eye is like literally way over here. I'm not playing. I'm dead serious. I mean, when you see his eye is like not in the proper place. But if you see older pictures of him, like his eye is centered like it's supposed to be. You know what I'm talking about? But if you see him now, his eye doing a big head bounce.
I could be listening.
I'm serious. His eye messed up. But that black girl who I'm talking about, baby eyeball, not the socket. Her eyeball is like way, like she can see. It's like a fisheye lens. She can see all the way around the room. You don't know what she sees.
Man, go ahead.
I'm just saying.
You don't know what she sees.
Shoot, how her eye looking, she can see everything. Probably can see Mars if she wanted to. But I'm just saying, man. That's all I'm saying. But baby knows she ugly and she embrace it. And shoot, and everybody's embracing her because she laying with some of everybody. Now she Facebook famous, as she said. And she brought her daughter out, and her daughter looked just like her. You know what I'm saying? Baby looked like a water bug. I'm serious though. I'm just being serious.
Couple spots at this point.
Yeah, we flew out James chapter 4.
Done with James?
Yeah, we done with James. Isaiah 10.
Done with Romans, I assume.
Yeah, we good in Romans.
All right.
Yeah, good. I appreciate you for checking.
Still on Matthew 13 though.
Yeah, just hold that for a little while. Get your Jeremiah 48 while you're at it. Just hold that for a little while. Maybe a little Amos 9. Just hold that too. Psalms 105. Hold that too.
J40. Come throw that in the trash, baby.
He ain't got to hold all that. Most High willing, we gonna read all that though.
Where are you?
We're in
Isaiah 10,
Isaiah chapter
13.
10.
You said you want J40?
Yeah, hold Jeremiah. We got to swing to Jeremiah 48 after a while. Now remember, we dealing with nettles and useless thorns and the vineyard of a man who has no heart. When you're dealing with a man who has no heart, we'll deal with that in a moment. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 10 and 13. For he says, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent.
Yeah.
And I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasuries, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man.
Mm-hmm.
And my hands have found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathers eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved.
Hold on, he said his hand found what?
His hand has found as a nest of riches.
And he is one to do what?
The one that gathers eggs that are left.
And what did he gather?
Have I gathered all the earth?
And it wasn't nobody that moved what?
That wing or open the mouth. Or
What y'all think he's telling you right here? Because you should be able to catch what he's telling you. It's pretty plain. What does he just tell you right here? He said he is one that has gathered all the riches, gathered the eggs that are left, gathered all the people of the earth. Ain't nobody open a mouth, move a hand, wing, or peep. All right, go and give him Daniel chapter 8, man, about verse 24 then.
before.
Yeah.
It says, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by shalom shall he destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince.
He'll do what?
Stand up against the prince of princes.
And what's going to happen to him?
But he shall be broken without hand.
Without what?
Hand.
Let us see what that word mean when they say. What y'all think it mean when they say he'll be broke without a hand? What you think he mean when he telling them I'm breaking without a hand? Say without effort. When we look at broken, you know, to break into pieces, that's your bar. Then when we look without hand, say that prosperity. A ceasing, an end, or finality. That's so. When he say he's going to break him without a hand, who is the hand? So okay, how does the word say he gonna come back though? With a sword. So this is what he mean when he say he gonna break him without a hand. And is this man gonna be able to raise up a hand? Because it said they won't be able to wing, peep, or what else did it say? Or they're not gonna be able to open their mouth. So when we read in Revelation 17, don't it say that he'll gather all the armies of the earth to fight against him? But let's look at Revelation 19 and 15 and let's see how it states how he gonna come back and get them. And we also lead to something else dealing with a rod. Because what did it say in Isaiah 11 that he was do smite the earth with the rod of his what? Mouth. Because there's not, remember Revelation 1 and 7 says that every eye shall see him and wail because of it. So when it's sitting back saying that they're not going to be when he comes back. Because it's saying that this man saying his hand found the nest of riches. Remember it said all the nations are going to bring their riches to Jerusalem and drop them at the master's feet. Whether you read Isaiah 60, Psalm 68, Revelation 21, they all tell you this. Because the riches of the earth are his. Then remember the key thing which he should have called. He said he'll gather the eggs that are left. And you look at Matthew 24, what did he say? I'll gather them up one by one. Some will be in, I'll grab one out of the house and leave the other. You know what I'm saying? Then he also tell you, and he'll gather all the earth. Because then when he look at that, he's gathering the eggs that are left and gathering all the earth. He's going to gather all the earth to battle while he grabs up his remnant. And then I guess we're going to look at that scripture so you can see that plainly. Go ahead, though.
It says, and out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations.
You smite who?
The nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Rod of iron.
And he treadeth the winepress of fierceness.
So now we see the key thing, right? He gonna smite them with a rod, right? Or smite them with the sword. Now let's look at Matthew 24. What it is? Probably about verse 15. You see if verse 15 got what I require. Because I was just talking to my cousin, not about this, but about the fact of everybody's not going to be gathered. He was talking about that small remnant. Because everybody's not a part of that remnant.
Damn.
And they just not. You know what I'm saying? Girl, you wasn't even struck. Make that 17.
It says, let them which is on the housetop come not down to take anything out of his house.
Yeah.
Neither let her which is in the field return back to take.
That should remind you about Lot. And that's what we were talking about a little bit yesterday. Why are you going back? If you have turned from these things and count all these things as dung, that you might win Mashiach, then why are you worrying about the things that are behind you? This is what we were talking about last night, right? Why are you seeking counsel but not of Yah? Why are you seeking the covering but not of his Ruach? Because you're trying to add sin to sin. That's why you worried about what's behind you. When he brought them out of Mizraim, did he tell them to be worried about what was behind them back there? He said, everything that you did on the other side of the flood, leave that over there. You know what I'm saying? If you seeking to come, what did we look at last night, right? He said to keep your foot when you go into the house of Elohim. I ain't never heard him cry before.
Me either. That's why I was shocked.
Look how she looking at it. Look how she looking at it. Somebody looking at him like, what's wrong with this nigga? What's his problem? That's how she looking at it. Like, what's his major malfunction? She look like I'm highly offended. That's how she looking though. And I like that's how she looking though. Now she's going back to what she was into. He got some pipes on him. What's what you doing? Let's see. But take it right. So what we look at, right? He said you need to keep your foot when you go into the house of Elohim. You know, keeping is the garden, and the go is your manner of life. And people are not guarding their manner of life when they coming into Mashiach. So they're making the sacrifice of fools, and they're not considering they doing evil. So it's a lot of people who say, I'm in the house, I'm in Mashiach, but you're not guarding his word, and you're not keeping your manner of life while you're in him. So therefore, since you're not keeping that manner of life, you act, because what you came in the temple for was to do what? To offer sacrifices. So you coming in this man's house, but you offering a sacrifice of fools, and then you're not even considering, you're not even discerning that you're evil. You know what I'm saying? And that's the dangerous of not knowing the word, flip-flopping, and all the type of stuff that people be doing. And that's how they end up going to hell. And that's why don't nobody want to tell, how you going to judge me? I didn't judge you, the word judge. It's funny that Hebrews tell that to Christians when they screen somebody judgment. Then when somebody say the same thing to them, you repeat the same fashion. See, that brother judgmental. He always telling people they going to hell. This, that, and the third. Yah's telling you going to hell if you don't repent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you specifically going to go right here at this moment, but you know if you're continuing in a specific pattern of behavior, this is what's going to happen to you. He told you in Nehemiah, if a man sin, he shall even live in it. You know what I'm talking about? So if you play with it, you're going to live in it. If your mind's bad, then your soul is bad. And if your soul's bad, you're going to be rejected. And don't nobody want to get right because you're more concerned about what other people think, but truth be told, you're more concerned about doing whatever it is that you want to do. See, that's why people hate the word, because it blocks the things that they want to do. So if they can't find somebody who telling them what they want to hear, then they'll find somebody else who tell them. They'll either find a teacher who going to tell them what they want to hear, or they going to find individuals who tell them what they want to hear. And then that strengthens in them. Like I just found out the congregation at Water Wars that's supposed to marry that 13-year-old girl. That's that Israelite Heritage Group. A group of which I had a woman tell me directly, who was a part of it, that they were wife swapping, that they were swinging, that they had the women committing lesbian acts. So to know that, that's no shock that you would marry a 13-year-old girl to a 39-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? It's the type of stuff that niggas be on.
How can they do that? It's against the law.
I mean, shoot, people do a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, against the law. I don't know what they're doing, but they definitely got locked up for it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, that's how I found out about it. They locked the mama, the dude up.
That's good.
Because when a woman come on and kid, she a woman.
Yeah, they feel like that's what he was teaching, and that's why he married that 13-year-old girl to this grown man. I said the little girl went to the hospital about something, and they seen that she had been having sex, and she said, oh yeah, I've been married since I was 13. And when they found that out, they found her mama, and they found her so-called husband, and they locked them up. And then when I shared the story, and I found out afterwards that that was a Hebrew group. And then the day I found out who it was, because now his wife is saying, oh, I'm not affiliated with them no more. I bet you is. You don't want no criminal charges to come your way.
What wife?
Obadiah's wife.
He was married.
Yeah, but I knew, I had already been told by someone who was directly in the organization that them boys was getting it in. You know, like I say, wife swapping, and you know what I'm saying, and you got 2-3 wives, and you had your 2 wives committing homosexual acts upon one another.
Was he married to the mother and the daughter? Is that why?
No, she married her daughter to a grown man who she had no relations with, because that's the teaching. She's of age, not to that man.
The mama allowed the daughter to marry.
A grown man.
She probably had her own husband.
Yeah, I don't know if she had a husband or not, but I know she married her daughter to this 39-year-old man.
I'm trying to figure out how the wife ended up making the decision.
Because that's her mama, and you're gonna marry her off. You got to understand, most people go by what they're taught. If the organization is teaching those type of things, and they believe that to be true, and the individual is showing it to them out the book, and they believe that that's right according to the word, then they're going to go with it.
So there was no news on dad's input on that decision?
I don't know nothing about the dad. You going with you, but 9 times out of 10, daddy ain't there. Yeah, I don't know too many grown men going for that. But then at the same token, if grown men marrying her off,
you would hit a 13-year-old.
Then 9 times out of 10, these men are with it too. Come here, Muffin. Just come on, Muffin. Go to Dog. Muffin, little Muffin, go to Dog. Dog will get you.
Like people now, old people marry 12, 13-year-old girls.
I mean, they do it overseas every day. Arabs marry 7 and 8 year olds every day.
You want to kill?
24/17, man. Matthew, they do it every day.
Here, take a tip.
It said, "Let them which is on the housetop not come down and take anything out of his house.
Don't take nothing out your
Neither
house.
let him that is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Don't take your clothes.
And woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Shabbat. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall there be, ever shall be. And except those days which shall be short."
That's good. Let me see. That ain't what I wanted though.
You want more water?
Drop down to verse 27 though. I still don't see the one I wanted. Oh yeah, it's down at 40. Look at read verse 27.
It say, "For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Yeah.
For wheresoever the carriage, the carcass is, there will the eagles be
So
gathered.
you see that he gonna gather. He say he gonna gather them up, right? But that's drop to verse 40. And you see how he'll gather the eggs that are left. That girl don't want to go to the bathroom.
You could be getting conned.
I'm willing to wager she's being conned.
You were conned.
Yeah, you were definitely conned. She just knew that's where her mama was, and that you would probably take her out there to her.
You don't get conned again.
Yeah, she just went to the potty. Verse 40.
It says, "Then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken, and
One
the
shall
other
be
left.
taken, the other left.
Two women shall be grinding at the mill, and one shall be taken, and the other
Now
left."
give me Zechariah 13, 8 and 9 about the eggs that are left. And then we'll look at, he'll gather the whole earth in Psalms 99, if I'm not mistaken. Henry, what you crawling for, baby? Zechariah 13 and 8. And then we can tie this into that 2 Thessalonians 1 that we were talking about the other day.
It says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, says Yahuwah, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein."
The third shall be what?
Left therein.
So he gonna get all the eggs that are left. Go ahead.
And I will bring the third part through the fire,
And why?
and I will refine them as silver is refined.
For refine
And
them.
I will try them as gold is tried.
And try them as gold is tried.
They shall call on my name, and I will hear them.
They'll do what?
They will call on my name, and I will hear them.
He'll hear him. Go
I will
ahead.
say, "It is my people," and they shall say, "Yahuwah is my Elohim."
That's what he's gonna do when he sit back and he gather them eggs that are left. Let's look at 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 9.
Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of Yahuwah? First Thessalonians.
2 Thessalonians.
Okay, I'll make sure. Should be struck from the presence of
It
Yahuwah.
should be in chapter 1, verse 9. Because verse 1, 2 Thessalonians should be talking about him destroying people who didn't want to obey. Yeah.
That's what's that? 2 Thessalonians.
Well, I don't know what you're reading though, son. He just said what he told you it was gonna say.
That's what I just read. Who shall be punished with
It
everlasting?
sounds like that's what you said, sir. I'm just saying it. It sounds like that.
Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of Yahuwah?
Give me verse 8 though.
It said, "In flaming fire taking vengeance on them that know not Elohim, and that obey not the Besor of the Master Yahushua Mashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of Yahuwah, and from the esteem of his power. Then he shall come to be esteemed in his Kadashim, and be admired in all them that believe, because our testimony among you was believed in that day."
Who told you about people being gathered together? Somebody told you about people being gathered together. He said he would gather all the nations to a particular place. The Valley of Jehoshaphat. So that's where you seeing about the eggs being gathered, and then all the earth being gathered. We don't need Psalm 99 now. All the earth being gathered. Because what was he going to do with? And you know what all this earth is being gathered for? Because these are these that man of understanding or void of understanding in that vineyard who has his vineyard grown over with nettles and thorns. You know what I'm saying? What did he say he would do with those thorns? He said he would burn them. Let's look at 2 Samuel 23 and 1. And you're supposed to look upon all that and receive instruction.
Put it in her book bag.
Get away. Now these be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, the man who was raised up on high and anointed of Elohim of Yaakov, and the sweet psalmist of Yasharah. He said, the spirit of the Ruach of Yahuwah spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. The Elohim of Yasharah said, the rock of Yasharah spoke to me. He that ruleth over men must be just ruling in the fear of Elohim. He shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises, and even a morning without clouds, as a tender grass spring out of the earth by clear shining.
You know they say a morning without clouds. We're going to look at something like we read last night about a well being without water. Go ahead.
It says, although my house be not so with Elohim, yet he hath made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things for sure. For this is my salvation and all my desire, although he make it not to grow.
What did he say about them sons of Belial though?
But the sons of Belial shall be all of them as thorns.
As what?
Thorns.
And what did he do with them thorns?
Thrust away.
Thrust away and do what to them?
Because they cannot be taken with hands.
And what he gonna do to them?
But the man that shall touch them must be fenced with iron and the staff of a spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire.
Now you know Belial means to be worthless, right? Now let's look at 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. We ain't got to keep going a whole lot further. Just want to read something about Belial. Anybody know any places about the sons of Belial and their behavior? You can read the Deuteronomy about the sons of Belial. You know what he said the sons of Belial will tell you to do in Deuteronomy? He said the sons of Belial will come up and tell you to worship other gods. You know, in another place with the sons of Belial were the ones who came up to give false witness on Naboth for Jezebel. Referred to them as sons of Belial. And another place with the sons of Belial with King Saul is that these men did not want to give reverence to Saul and respect him as king. So when you see three things, you see idolaters, you see men who despise authority, and you see men who are liars. And another place with the sons, Eli's sons were referred to as sons of Belial. And you know what they like to do? They like to have sex with women in the tabernacle.
Filthy lucre.
Yeah, and go after cat. That's what it said. Said they were having sex with the women in the door of the congregation. Just to let people know that preachers been sleeping with women, because he was Levite priests. So teachers been sleeping with women using the word to get a little booty. That ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? And the book say ain't nothing new under the sun. To me, that's one of the most vile. That what that dude did with that young girl is a whole nother level of vile. You can't even classify that or put that in any box. But niggas who use the word for physical gratification are outright disgusting. You know what I'm saying? The woman who sleep with him just as bad, but that man supposed to have restraint not to use the word of Yah for his physical and sexual pleasures. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, because we had a conversation yesterday. Niggas use the word to manipulate women, to get women to do what they want them to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Dudes know that dudes will use the word, especially if a woman young or weak-minded or ignorant of the text, or they'll use that all day long to get that woman to mold her, to get her to move just like how they want her to move. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily show her who she ought to be according to the word. You know what I'm saying? They don't want her to be. That's why dudes always scream it's the husband's job to teach his wife the word, and that ain't nowhere in the book, because then you can dictate and control the level of information that she receives. I done seen a dude say, nah, man, I'm the only one to teach my wife, man. She can't listen to you teach the word, because whatever I'm saying might be against whatever you trying to tell her. That's what it says. See, you letting people run your house. You ain't supposed to let nobody run your house. Man supposed to run his house. Ain't no man supposed to be coming in here telling your wife. You supposed to be teaching your wife. Where's that at in the book? That woman's supposed to be taught what's right. You know what I'm talking about? And if you any type of man and you care about her soul, if you ain't got it, you going to get it to the person who do. You know what I'm saying? Dudes don't really be caring about their wife. They care about theyself and what they can get from that woman. That's why they do that. I done met too many dudes like they say, I'm the only one teach my wife. All right. You stupid though.
would you say that eventually in the process of this, he would
You might not be son to teach. You becoming a husband does not mean that you can be authorized and qualified to teach the word. It just means you're a husband. Like when he say the woman should ask her husband questions at home, because he should have a good enough grasp of the information after he heard it to answer her query, versus her asking a question in the middle of service. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the text say a woman not even supposed to speak in the house of Elohim. She's supposed to remain quiet and ask her questions after it's over. You know what I'm saying? And your husband is supposed to have enough sense to be, if you had a question, that he could answer. And guess what? If he couldn't answer it right then, you know what he's supposed to do? Go ask the priest or the teacher or the prophet or the bishop so he can give him the answer, so he can answer your question. Dudes got in their brain that you get married and now you supposed to teach your wife the word, and there's no book for that.
What you doing?
There's no book for that. All your ancestors never walked around and said, we're married, I don't need to go to the Levites to be taught the law. You don't see them saying that. That's 21st generation stuff. That's 21st century stuff. That's new people stuff.
Sit down.
And that's because they want the manipulation and control and regulation of that woman. Because if I'm disseminating the information, then I control the information which she receives. Therefore, I can control her and to craft her to move how I want her to move versus how Yah wants her to move. You know what I'm saying? That is disgusting and vile on that. Ain't no shame if you like, shoot, baby, hey, I'm just here for the word, baby. I don't know no word. I can't teach you nothing. We're not talking about reading the word together. We talking about niggas trying to teach their wife and not allowing her to hear anyone else's voice on the word who may be more qualified than her husband. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ask a nigga say, I'm the one going to teach my wife, book, chapter, and verse, please. 2 to 3 witnesses, preferably. They're not going to be able to show you that. They're not going to be able to show you that. You know what I'm saying? It tells, you know what the book tells a man and a woman supposed to do? Pray together. Say husband and wife supposed to pray together. You're supposed to be searching the scriptures to see if things are so anyway. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be double checking what that person said to you anyway. Anyway, you supposed to be reading the book anyway. He said seek the book of Yahuwah out and read. You supposed to be doing that anyway. That's whether you married or not. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you have to look how people move when if I ain't had no word, man, and I couldn't preach and I was married, you think I care about, I think the preacher controlling my house and he telling me what the book say for us to move? Them not his words. That's Yah's words. All he doing is going through the book and lining it up, arranging the sentences like a choir is supposed to, a preacher's supposed to. Now I know what's pleasing to Yah, and I can set my house in that order. You know what I'm saying? Nigga looking at it, you listening to the preacher, he running your house. No, nigga, Yah's running my house. That's how a nigga can that's how niggas end up wife swapping. You know what I'm saying? That's how niggas end up marrying a 13-year-old girl. That's how niggas end up with 6, 7 different wives, because niggas is using the word to their benefit.
I was wondering, so since she's 13, that don't really mean she spun her marriage card, because she technically can't judge, right?
No, she ain't had no business married anyway. She didn't even make that decision to be married. She was married off.
Yeah.
But then she wasn't old enough, if we remember what happened in Genesis. Remember what Judah's son, when he died?
Sit down.
And she was like, he had another son, and he said, you got to come back. He ain't old enough.
Right. So technically that marriage.
No, man, baby, that is straight pedophilia. And they weren't legally married on top of that.
Yeah, that's the icing on the cake.
But that's straight pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? Big grown man married a like, how could you be 37? Because this is what I was telling them yesterday. When you look in the book, most of the time when men got married, they were older than that woman. You know what I'm saying? Usually 10, 15, 20 years old. I seen a nigga today say Isaac was 65 and Rebecca was 10. You know what I'm saying? 10 years old? You think this man Abraham gonna send his servant to marry his son to a 10-year-old? A 10-year-old? Like, where is your mind at to think that you would want a 10-year-old out their butthole? But most of the time when you look at the word, they were old. You could tell from the text that person was older, because they tell you how old the man is. And then you see that woman. Well, clearly if it says that woman had a child, she couldn't have been too old, because she can have children. You know what I'm saying? Because Rebecca had children. Book said Isaac was about 60 years old when he married her. You know what I'm saying? So we can wager if she had children that she had to be anywhere between the ages of 20 and 40. if let's say she was 40, she's still 20 years younger than him. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't know how old Rebecca is, but we know how old Isaac was, and she had kids. And we know a woman's childbearing ages is between about 14 years old to about close to 45. Yes.
Supposed to get them young.
Yeah, that's what one of the brothers was saying, that brothers want young virgins. They want virgins. Shoot, you go ahead and just hang that up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to get virgin, that means you got to get them young. And what good is that going to do for you if you 35, 40 years old? What you going to do with an 18-year-old girl? Do you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. What you going to do with that?
Sure, they have plenty of ideas.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you 10 or 15 years older than a woman, then you're going to have to look at that woman's mentality to see if she's on par with you. Because you got some women that, like dudes say, you know, women mature faster than men. I'm not convinced on that one, on either one. I don't think either gender matures faster than the other. I think it's just solely based on the individual and their upbringing. Because I know a lot of immature women. I know a lot of immature men. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where people get that from, that women mature faster than men, because I've seen a lot of stupid older women. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, there's a whole gang of them running around here. 28, 30 years old, still fighting in the street, still going to the club every night, still around here sleeping with everybody.
I thought when they said that, they were saying like,
what, physically?
Develop, yeah.
No, they talking about mentally and emotionally.
Oh.
Now, they say women mature faster than men, but I can't tell it through my close to 37 years of living. I can't tell it. I ain't saying men mature faster. I'm not saying women mature faster. I'm just saying it's on an individual basis, because I see immaturity on both of them at advanced ages. I've seen women that were young, that were very mature. I've seen men that were. You know what I'm saying? I think it's on the individual and not your gender. You know what I'm saying? So they try to say that that's why it's cool for a grown man to marry. Mike, that's why I say it's cool for a grown man to marry a woman that's younger, because she'll mature and catch up. That's nonsense, though. All that is a means to justify your lust. That's all it is. That's all dudes be trying to do, is justify their lust. Because I don't know why a 39-year-old man would want an 18-year-old girl or a 13-year-old girl. What would you have in common with her? What level of life experience has she even had that she can relate to you? You know what I'm saying? How can you relate to a 13-year-old girl, a 14-year-old girl, a 16, 17, 18-year-old girl? Unless her life was pure D hell, I don't see how you can relate to that. Like if you 39 years old, what type of conversation can you have with a 13-year-old? All she knows is something about Powerpuff Girls and Dora and all that other stuff. What she know? What type of conversation can you have? How can you be intellectually stimulated with a preteen? This nigga's in adolescence. Doesn't make any sense. They gonna put the casket in the ground in a minute, baby. It's all right. We're gonna go to the repast in a minute. Go. She crying like she had the funeral. She got the good funeral too.
We're gonna put the casket in the ground momentarily.
Momentarily. It's almost over.
Freshman's on the way.
Freshman's on the way. Then she gonna get up there and see, that's why Henry dead now. Look at all this fat and food. Why he had a heart attack? Go ahead.
You know what you want.
Well, yeah. 6 and 14. You just have to think about stuff like that, man. That's all I'm saying is, I don't know what he do to get that at, man. And as a woman, though, you ain't supposed to let nobody control the level of information that you receive. You got to learn the difference is your husband's job is to lead and guide the household. That does not encompass teaching you the word. Studying the word and teaching the word are two different things. They're two different things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a man and his wife sitting down studying the word together. You ought to do it. You know what I'm talking about? But you sitting here, I'm your teacher. You supposed to sit back and look at, what you gonna teach me, nigga? I don't know if you can teach me that one there, baby. I don't know now. I'm not convinced. People think because you can open up the word. You know why people get caught up in somebody they think somebody can teach? Because they tell them something they ain't never heard before. So that's how they get him. Oh, he got to be able to teach. I ain't never heard that before. Well, shoot, there's a lot of things you ain't never heard before. That's how con men get niggas every day. Because I know you don't know. I don't mean nothing because a nigga told you something. You should. That's a given if somebody teaching you the word and you just started dealing with the word. You don't know. They going to tell you something you don't know. That's like going to college. I bet when all y'all went to college, the people told you a lot of stuff you didn't know. You know why? You ain't never been there before. After about 2-3 years, there's a lot of stuff they couldn't tell you ain't never heard before. I took that class last semester. I already know this. Some of the stuff they told you learned in high school, didn't I? Bet when you got there, some of that stuff you learned in high school, you already knew it. So that professor couldn't have wowed you with his information level because you done heard that before. But you might have ran across a professor dropping stuff on you ain't know. You like, he's a good one. He may have not necessarily been good. He just told you something you didn't know. Straight up.
Real.
Just because somebody tell you something that you don't know don't mean they're an expert in their field, man.
Can't tell us more. Y'all nigga that.
Sure can't. You won't fool me with that. I done ran across a lot of niggas, boy. They make it sound, see, time pull that out if they really know what they talking about. Because a nigga hit you something week 1, week 2, but that boy, that's sharp. Week 4, week 5, go to roll around, boy. That junk getting like luster. Then you go to asking questions and they can't answer. Then he be like, hold up. This nigga don't know what he talking about. I've been had. Now you go home mad. You know what I'm saying? I let the Christian pastor get me. Now I don't let the Hebrew nigga get me. Now I'm mad. Don't let nobody get you, man. Shoot. Time pull out everything. That's in the Apocrypha. Anyway, say don't prove a man before his time. Huh? Yeah, what I'm saying? We don't deal with it, but I'm talking about that statement. Say prove a man out. Now, Paul said that, don't judge the thing before its time. See, we hear stuff and we judge it before the time. It's all right, baby. They gonna pull up to the cemetery in a minute. Come on. Look how she looking too.
It say,
Look, 6 and 14.
be ye not unequally yoked
Don't
together.
be what?
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Why?
For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness?
What fellowship have what?
Righteousness with unrighteousness.
And what else?
And what communion have light with darkness?
And what else?
And what concord have the Masha with Belial?
With who?
With Belial.
So what is this what agreement does the anointed one have with something that's worthless? Because we're looking at Proverbs 24 where it say the nettles and the thorns have came over the land of this slothful man or just this man, and he is void of a heart. Now you sit back and you see something, right? That seed by the wayside that we started with, right? If the seed gets snatched away, then what's going to end up coming up on that parcel of land? If you see some land and nobody don't till it after a while, what begins to grow on it? Weeds, thorns, these nettles, because a weed ain't nothing but a useless plant. And that's what it said, that those nettles are growing up on that land. It's a useless plant. So you know what ends up developing in this person? Vain, worthless information. They can't do nothing with it. And then let's look at Hebrews chapter 2 and let's see what he tell you he go. Well, Hebrews 6, my apologies. 6 and 7. Let's see what he tell you he do with thorns and thistles and nettles and all these things like this. He'll see what he do with it. Remember, he said he looked upon this man who was void of a heart and seen these worthless plants on him. And he said he looked upon it and he learned instruction. He learned what not to do. And after we read this Hebrews 6 and 7, we'll swing your way around here to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and pick it up at verse 1 now. Go ahead, man. Hebrews 6 and 7.
For the earth which drinketh in the rain that cometh off upon it, and bringeth forth herbs meet for them by whom it was dressed, receiving a blessing from Elohim.
Yes, sir.
But that which beareth thorns and briars.
Remember now, if this ground is big, because that's what it said, right? The ground drink up the water, right? So when you ground drinking up the water, you drinking up the word, because the word is referred to as water in certain instances. Like Isaiah 55, say, come ye to the waters and what? Drink. You know what I'm saying? So when you come in to drink of the word, because the word that I speak unto you is ruach and they are life, then you trying to soak that up and be quickened with everlasting life. But if you're that ground where there's no nettles, and you know why he say you slothful? Because you lazy. See, we didn't read that Hebrews 2 and 1 when he say, take the diligence in the things that you hear lest they slip. See, a lot of people hearing the word and they not diligent in their service. Because you know what you got to do when you got a vineyard and you got a field? You got to get your sorry behind out there every day and till it. You have to work it. That's no different if you got a hustle. If you got a business, your business ain't going to do nothing if you feel like I'm going to kick my feet up today and I ain't going to do nothing. How you going to make some money then? You know what I'm saying? Because if you hustling, then your money that you make is dictated on how hard you go. You know what I'm talking about? So the dictating the same way with your field producing crops. It's only going to produce crops by how diligent you are and maintaining that field and planting those seeds and doing all the things that is necessary to make sure that they grow. That's no different with the word. It's a man's job to drop the seed, till the, what Paul say, we drop the seed, water it, till the land. You got some men that they got to do all that. Drop the seed, water the ground, till the land, bring in the crop and all that. Then you have some men, he give laborers to assist them in that, because that burden can be very hard on a single individual. But a lot of people don't want to do no work. He tell you in the book of Proverbs, see a man diligent in his labor, he'll stand before kings. So if you say that this is your job, your labor, your service to Elohim, then you supposed to be diligent in tilling that land, because that land is your heart. That vineyard is your heart. If you don't work it, then it's going to be burned over with nettles and thorns. And what did he say he going to do with the nettles and thorns, sir? Hebrews chapter 6, verse 8, do you believe you?
He said they will be rejected. And it's not unto cursing, whose end is to be burned.
Say they're near to be cursed, and their end is to be burned. So what you think will happen to those first people when he said that they were that seed by the wayside and Satan snatched away? That's why he say there's some that are destroyed for want of judgment. It's some people that's going to be destroyed because he snatched that seed away. But who allowed that seed to be snatched? Yah allowed that seed to be snatched, because that person never wanted. Remember, he said, when a person hear the words of the kingdom and understand it not, he said he snatched away what was already sown in their heart. They already didn't want to do it. They already didn't believe it. See, so that's why he said that. And you have some people, right? He don't snatch that seed away immediately. Sometimes it's not even a persecution or affliction. Sometimes it's not the cares and affairs of his life. Sometimes they hear it, but they don't really believe it, but they walk in it for a little while. And then he go ahead and he take it away from them, because it was never what they want to do anyway. Because y'all done seen people who done had that seed snatched away and they didn't get no persecution or no tribulation. And they were around here talking about y'all this, y'all that. Sabbath, no pork on my fork. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping with everything they could come across. Getting high all they could. You got to be able to discern and pay attention. You got to know the difference between the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error. And it's just not with doctrine. That's way of life, your manner of life. You're supposed to be guarding your manner of life. He say guard your heart. The issues of life proceed from it. That ain't just with doctrine. That's with people too. Because if you don't guard your heart from the wrong people, guess what you're going to end up doing? Be a son of Belial. You know what I'm talking about? Because the adversaries stay on the prowl. He said, I've just been walking to and fro the earth, looking to see whom I could deceive, whom I could devour. That's what he do. Now I'm trying to think of other places with sons of Belial. Anybody else can think of some other places with sons of Belial, what they like to do? We mentioned Eli's sons, right? And we seen that Yah didn't have no communion with them because they got killed. He didn't call them sons of Belial, though. They could be considered that. But I'm referring to somebody who he directly said, these are sons of Belial. I think we might have got pretty much all of them. You got Naboth, the men against Naboth who lied on him. You know what I'm saying? You got when Saul became king, you had some men who wouldn't pay him homage. And then in Deuteronomy 13 it talk about them sons of Belial who try to get you to serve idols. See, people don't like judgment and do all these things, but you're supposed to put people out there. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people, people don't be realizing that you're supposed to get put out there, and sometimes people spare you. And they don't put you out there. You know what I'm saying? Because the book say you're supposed to rebuke before all that others might fear. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I think people overlook that verse. Oh, you shouldn't. I done had people tell me you shouldn't put people out there like that. But the book tell you to do it though. You know why people don't want to get put out there like that? Because they don't want to be embarrassed. But you wasn't worried about, you weren't ashamed when you were doing whatever it was that you were doing. You know what I'm saying? Now it's no problem. Or they niggas like this here. When somebody else getting put out there, yeah, boy, you got to rebuke niggas in public until it's them. You need to keep that.
That could have been in the past, bro.
It was in the past. I know it. Every sin was in the past till it come to light, nigga.
It was in the past.
Get what though? You ain't hear David say it was in the past when he said, I'm going to rebuke you before all Yasharal. You did it in the dark. I'm going to do it before everybody, right in the middle of the sun. You ain't hear David say, that's in the past. You got to take that. That's what a humble man going to do. You got to take that. I'm just saying, is that what it said though?
Yeah, it say so.
Ain't that what 2 Samuel 13 say? Did he not say he was going to rebuke him before the sun? Because David did it in the dark, didn't he? You ain't hear David say, that was in the past, y'all, please. Just let it go. He ain't telling none of that.
You can dolo too on that mission.
Dolo. And I'ma tell everybody. And get what y'all said. I'ma tell everybody, nigga. Everybody gonna know what you. When have you ever seen y'all rebuke a nigga in private and not tell everybody?
See, open rebuke.
He open rebuke me in front. Get what? He openly rebuked his son in front of everybody. Everybody saw it.
Cut that button off.
And you ain't hear Yahusha say, Father, please, don't you embarrass me in front of everybody. That was in the past. I'm going to pad this belt right across your... Come on, boy. Let's go. Let's get it. I got to have that. I needs that. I needs that. But that's a sign of humility if you can take that in front of everybody. Because the cause, people thinking that is to shame the person. And it is, because the book do say that. But it's also for the people. Because if he can rebuke David in front of everybody, then everybody in the nation of Yasharal know, boy, I can get it too. I might consider my behavior. Because he ain't spared David. I heard he said David was a man after his own heart. Boy, look what he did to David. Get what you gonna do. Shoot, boy. I ain't sleeping with Carl's wife. I was finna hit her too. She told me come around her. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest though. That's what you gonna do. You gonna guess what you gonna do? You gonna consider, cause he rebuked David in front of everybody. He didn't tell David, you know what, David, that was wrong what you did. Everybody knew David slept with Bathsheba and killed Uriah the Hittite. Everybody. Guess what? All y'all know it cause you read about it. So he's still getting rebuked for it to this day. To this day. And guess what a nigga tell you? Come on, brother. Don't do me like that. Don't shame me. You ought to be shamed. That's what sin, they say sin bring a reproach, a dishonor, and a shame. So not just from you committing it, but the rebuke that you got to take for committing it. I done had a nigga tell me, man, you just did that because of this here. No, I mean, no, because you were wrong. You did do that.
I done said some niggas still content to commit sin because they might shoot David was after his own heart. He committed rebellion. So I know
that's why they going to hell, because that's what he want them to think. You keep on thinking. One thing for certain, you ain't David, nigga. You are not David, sir. You might not have that level of mercy for you to go ahead and pull that stunt. Go ahead and pull it. You gonna want somebody to pull the fire alarm for you. Straight up and down. Come on, man. Pull the fire alarm. I burn it. I burn. It hurts. Go ahead. What I got you? 10:1. Listen what he tell you.
Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea.
All passed
and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud in the sea.
And the sea.
And did all eat the same spiritual meat.
All eat the same spiritual meat.
And did all drink the same spiritual drink.
They drunk it too.
For they drank that spiritual rock that followed them.
And followed them.
And that rock was the Mashiach.
Yeah.
But with many of them, Elohim was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness.
They were what?
Overthrown in the wilderness.
Do you think all the did them not people see everybody that was overthrown, or did he did it in private? They saw all that. Go ahead. Keep going.
It says, now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after.
They were what?
Things. Examples.
Now let's ask a question, see if anybody can know. What were some of the things that these people were openly chastised for in the wilderness that everybody saw?
Unbelief, disbelief.
No, I'm talking about the actions and then the consequence. Okay, you got the golden calf, and what was the consequence for the golden calf? They had to drink it, and 3,000 men got murdered. What are other things that they did? Now this is open. This is for the whole. Everybody in the congregation saw the 3,000 men fall down and die because of this. Everybody saw it.
That boy Phineas caught that nigga.
Phineas caught that boy when they were around there blaspheming, doing what it is he did. And guess what he ended up having? And guess what? Before he hit him with that spear, what was going on? No, there was a plague in the camp. Everybody seen that rebuke. What's another one?
Someone brought sticks on the Sabbath.
Yep, because he was caught with picking up sticks on the Sabbath. What happened to him? He got killed. What's another one? Korah them. And what happened to all of them? Earth swallowed them up. What's another one?
There was an Egyptian.
He was blaspheming. And what happened to him?
I think
He got stoned.
Somebody's kids was blaspheming, they got stoned.
She talking about the Egyptian. Yeah, y'all on the same page. What's another one?
What about Moses?
Moses in front of everybody, the one that led him out. He smoked the rock instead of speaking to it. And get what he told him to do. Oh, you ain't getting in here, baby.
Everybody.
Miriam.
Well, look at Miriam and Aaron. This is for everybody. And look who 3 people we just named. The 2 leaders and their sister. And he rebuked them in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And the leader's sons got murked for what? Mixing incense. What about when a nigga was crying for quails? He said, I'm going to give you so much flesh, it's going to come out your nostrils. And what happened to him while they were sitting there eating it? He killed thousands of them. What about when they were bucking and he sent the fiery serpents to bite these niggas? This is rebukes in front of everybody. Everybody seen it. What does the law tell you? Put the evil from among you so that Yasharal might what? Fear. And guess what? Niggas love, guess what? Niggas love to scream that law, but when it comes to that part of the law, see, brother, you can't be judging people and embarrassing people like that, brother. See, he done repented. You ain't repented nothing, nigga. That's why you talking like that. Because a repentant man ain't gonna talk like that. He gonna stand out there and take that shame and dishonor that his behavior required. You think the dishonor is just the sin itself? The dishonor is not only the sin, but the fact that the sin has to be exposed. It had to be known. Because you done dishonored your Elohim. Now you got to be ashamed in front of all these people. How are we going to say open rebuke is better than secret love, and then that the master despised the shame? He was put to an open shame because he became sin. Sin has to be exposed openly, not swept under the rug. You know what I'm saying? If a nigga choose to sit back and rebuke you one-on-one and not say it out loud, that's his prerogative. But if he choose to bring it in front of everybody, he is not wrong. The text tell you to do that. Are there instances in the book where somebody wasn't rebuked publicly? You can sit back and look at, to a certain extent, that woman who was caught in adultery, because all of Yasharal didn't see it. It was just the wicked niggas who brought her up there wanted her to get stoned. You know what I'm saying? He rebuked her and he let her slide. He ain't make up no public spectacle out of her. That's why Joseph wanted to spare Mary. That's gonna be, she got to be openly rebuked for everybody. Everybody got to stone her. Oh, she done cheated on me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he was trying to spare her from. Because they do say the book talking about covering a transgression, that that's the glory of a man to cover. That's really talking about a Mashiach. But you ain't supposed to cover up a nigga sin because you don't want nobody to know. You know what I'm talking about? Or niggas don't want to be shamed. But you wasn't shamed when you was doing what you was doing. So don't look to try to run from your shame when it's time to get that rod across your black behind. That's what niggas like to do, ain't it? Let's go to Jeremiah 48, man. Don't be around here. Don't be like them nettles right this here, right? You supposed to look, because all them people who we talking about were those nettles and those thorns. All them people were rejected. What did he say in the wilderness, right? None of y'all getting in here. That means I swear in my wrath you ain't getting in here, because they were useless plants. Remember what he said in Jeremiah 5, right? Reprobate silver, for Yahuwah has rejected them. You useless. Same thing in 2 Timothy. If a man purge himself of these, then he's a vessel meet for the master's use. Once you become a thorn and a nettle, then you ain't no good. You already know if you come across some land that got thorns and nettles on it, you might not even want to till that land. You just might do what? Man, burn that. This land is useless. What did he do with that fig tree? He ain't got no fruit. Curse it. Burn it. It's useless. That fig tree was reprobate. It's useless. And niggas get caught up on, I know Mashiach. I keep the Sabbath. I don't eat pork. I'm an Israelite. Nigga, you useless to this man though. You useless. Because if you're not actually actively using the word as you're supposed to, in faith and in deed and in truth, you worthless. Niggas is caught up in what they know and what they can disseminate to other people. You see it online every day. That's what they caught up on. Niggas ain't living right though. Or niggas like to manufacture enemies. You know what I'm saying? Yasharal was good for that. Manufacture an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody against you, nigga. That's all in your brain. You know why people, I'm talking about, you see niggas do it all the time in real life. Oh, they hating on me. And make them feel bad about the stuff they doing. If I can manufacture that I'm getting opposition, then I can feel better about the way that I'm going that is not good. You know what I'm saying? That's why Korah had to manufacture opposition to Moses to make himself feel better about stepping to that man with that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? This is why Saul had to manufacture hate against David for stepping to that man with that nonsense. Because you the one in wrong. David ain't did nothing wrong. But you got to make him seem like an enemy in the eyes of other people to validate the wicked stuff you doing. Because we know Saul was desperately wicked. And all the time he was trying to make it seem like it was David. He's coming from a throne. The people love him more. I'ma kill it. I'ma kill it. The whole time, nigga, you around here doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to people, man. Or think back on your life when you done seen people do that. Oh, nigga hating on me, bro. They hating on me. They don't want to see me come up. You just sit back and look at it. Nigga, I know you, right? You ain't never really had nothing popping the whole time I knowed you. Why would somebody hate on you? Why would a nigga hate on a nigga who ain't got nothing? Or ain't doing nothing? You know how many niggas y'all done ran across talking about a nigga hating on them niggas sitting out the house all day? Doing nothing? You be like, how's a nigga hating on you? Hating on you for what? Did I miss something? Did you win the lotto? You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know a nigga like to say, you be looking at nigga too. Nigga hating on him. Man, pass that blunt, nigga. Nigga hating on you, man. We finna go or what? You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm trying to run you to the store, nigga, so you can spend your stamp. Cause you know I gotta go to work. You know you ain't been to work in 6 months. You gotta sit back and look at that, man. Come on.
Jeremiah 48.
Jeremiah 48, I'm sorry, verse 16.
All right. It said the calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hastens fast.
Say what? The calamity of who?
Of Moab
Is near to what?
is near to come.
And what happened?
His affliction hastens fast.
It hates fast.
All ye that are about him, bemoan him.
Mm-hmm.
And ye that know his name, say, how is the strong staff broken,
And the beautiful rod. Go ahead.
It says, thou daughter that does inhabit the bond, come down from thy esteem and sit in thirst. For the spoiler of Moab shall come upon thee, and shall destroy thy strong.
Pause. When you look at calamity, what is calamity?
Distress.
That's your distress, right? It said the distress of him that is of the Father is near to come. What does this mean? What is this burden? It says, and one of the words is burden. So the burden of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hastes fast. What can we take from this? And when we look at affliction in this verse, it's evil. So it's raw, it's evil. Say his evil comes fast. Let's look at something. Let me see. Well, got to realize we didn't already establish when we started in the chapter who Moab is. Who is Moab in this chapter? It's Hamashiach, because you know what Moab means? It's of the Father. So the one, they say the burden of he that is of the Father is near to come, and evil comes quickly. Then he say, all ye that are, you know what it means to bemoan somebody? Mourn. Get Zechariah chapter 12, right? In verse 8. Make it 7.
I was thinking about Isaiah 16, because I remember you going to Daniel 8 when there's some tradition. Remember how he was talking about the land of Moab and Isaiah?
Yeah, that's talking about the hiding.
Yeah, I thought it was 12 days in that.
Nah, and this one here in Jeremiah 48, this is a prophecy against. Matter of fact, in Jeremiah, he goes to shoot prophecies against Egypt, the Philistines, Moab, Ammon, and Edom.
Zechariah what?
12 and 7. Make it 5. Oh, you old harvest nigga. Got it plenty? Plenty.
And the governors of Judah shall say in their hearts, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and Yehuda of hosts their Elohim. And that day I will make the governors of Yehuda like
A hearth
of fire among the wood, and like a torch of staff and a sheep, and they shall devour all the people round about on the top.
Now look at this. Hold on, right? We'll sit back and look at this hearth. This dirt.
I don't even see on the top.
When we look at hearth, that's a pot or a platform or a stage or a cauldron or a pot for cooking. Go ahead.
Okay.
Now he say he'll make the governors like this pot. So how is he making the governors like this cooking pot? Go ahead. What they gonna do? Yeah, verse 6.
I know my eyes low. Alright. He said he shall devour the people round about on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And Yehuda shall save the tents of Yehuda first, that the esteem of the house of David and the esteem of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do magnify themselves against.
Pause. Does anybody know scripturally why he has to save the tents of Yehuda first? This is leading into what we'll be starting next week. Does anybody know why he got to save? And I'll let y'all know that I'm going to be starting that on Wednesdays too. So I'm not waiting on no Sabbaths on the stuff that we got to deal with. It started on Wednesday. We got several different matters that we're going to look into. One of them being the split in the kingdom, the similitudes and relevance of it, how Israel did what they wanted to do, and how Judah stayed with Yah.
Is it because he came from the tribe?
No. Does anybody know what Yah said about Judah? Why he got to save them first?
I thought it was what he promised.
Is it in Genesis 49?
No, good. 1 Kings 11 and 36. You got to look at what he said when he split the kingdom. Exactly what he said. We talked about it not too long
Or a
ago.
light shower?
So he got to save them first. He told him he'd do it. He told him that he'd do it. So he got to save them first because he made a promise to David.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He made a promise to David about that ruling on that throne, but then when they split, he just extended it. And he said, you know what, I'm going to leave a light here because I placed my name here. Because he didn't never set Saul in Jerusalem. He said David that though.
Yeah, I was thinking because, especially when the kingdom split, them boys stayed faithful for the most part too.
Yeah, Judah stayed faithful. So therefore, the whole tribe, and that's what that's what we gonna, and that's the thing that we're gonna see when we begin to go to looking at all that, is Israel never had a righteous king ever. Not one. Not one. They were never faithful to Yah. You know what I'm saying? Judah always was. They had some wicked ones, but most of them were faithful.
Why do you think, what's the correlation to that? What you think? Why Israel?
Because you're going to have to show one group of people being carnal and another group of people being spiritual. Also showing you that there's enmity between the serpent seed and the woman seed. Also showing that all Yasharal is not of Yasharal. Just because you are that stock don't mean you are Yahuwah. And that there was always division, and that the people never met in agreement, and that you will see that there were many civil wars amongst the people because Yah did not like Israel and told Judah to murk them on a consistent basis and not to spare them, and that all them wars came from him. That they weren't wars that the king of Judah just said, you know what, let's go kill them niggas. Yeah, get rid of them. I don't like these niggas. They're wicked. They need to be exterminated. I will use you to exterminate them. You know what I'm saying? The same way that he will use a man from Judah to exterminate anyone of Israel who is wicked. You know what I'm saying? People want to scream that unity stuff. That's how I know they don't be reading the book. Because the unity is not disunity for the sake of disunity. It's disunity because one side is wicked and the other is not. It's always going to be like that. See, people think people don't want to unify because they just don't want to unify. The unification can't come because niggas is wicked. And righteousness and unrighteousness cannot meet. He just read it. What agreement does Mashiach have with Belial? The northern kingdom was worthless. They were worthless. That's why all brews want to claim Judah all the time. Niggas know Israel was worthless. Niggas know it.
And that's how we gotta be born again.
Yeah, you got to be. You can't.
Yasharal.
Yeah, same thing. Ephraim is Yasharal. The same thing. You know what I'm saying? Or if it say Joseph, with Israel you're gonna see three different names: Ephraim, Joseph, or Israel. Judah, you just gonna see Judah. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It'll say Jerusalem, but it's saying you already know where that's at though. If a nigga don't know where Jerusalem at, they study their book, they got a problem.
It's in Israel. Nah, you laughing, but my nigga, that's what they say.
I ain't talking about no new person. I would expect that. If a nigga been dealing with the word for a while,
in Israel,
you just need to go home and just pray.
Well, that's an average answer, so
Just go in your prayer closet and shut the door.
I'm not wrong. It is in Israel.
Yeah, but I'm serious though. When you see the difference, like there is no agreement with light and darkness. Israel was a very, very wicked group of people. Both houses. But Judah was more faithful.
Mashiach came on the scene, he was hollering at Judah first.
He wasn't saying nothing. But other than, I've come to say the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal, and that was about it. That's why he came in John chapter 10 and say, there are others that I must say that are not of this fold. because he was referring to Israel.
He was really seeing who already believed him.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Galilee,
The
he was
location he was
Samaria.
in, that was the land of Judah, right?
Yeah,
He was everywhere.
he was everywhere.
I'm talking about at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, but now he really went everywhere though.
Yeah, I know he went everywhere. I'm
He
talking
no,
about-
he listen. He started in Galilee and then he went everywhere.
Yeah, I was going back to when you said he saved Judah first.
Yeah, but we talking about saved Judah first, meaning that tribe. You remember the northern kingdom were gone and they never came back. There were only bits and pieces of people from those tribes that were there. We know that from the woman Anna, the prophetess, who was of the tribe of Asher. So we know that there was people there of the northern kingdom, but they never returned from their exile to Syria to resettle the land as Judah returned to resettle after going into Babylon. They never came back. This is why the master told them in Matthew to not go into Samaria, because Samaria is the northern kingdom. And if dudes know the book, you would know from 2 Kings 17 that those Gentiles were placed there.
I had a question about that too, because I was reading with the Samaritan woman. And then you know how she be like,
I was just going to tell you that.
Okay, my bad, bro.
Hey, I ain't mad at, I'm just going to tell you that though.
Making sure it was on point.
No, I'm just going to tell you that. Because in that John chapter, what I'm going to tell you is, go get 2 Kings 17, man. Screw you.
I mean, I'm here, bro.
You ain't left.
Hold on first.
I know it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I know. Read that 1 Kings 11:36 verse. So we
I'm
can,
in 2 Kings 17.
go ahead and read it then. Verse 22. You talking about you there?
I mean,
you
I'm here. I'm here though.
But you wasn't though. You were around the corner.
It took 2 seconds.
But you were around the corner though.
For the children of Yasharah walked in the sins of Jeroboam, which they did, and they departed not from them.
You need the 1 Kings 11, 36.
Look, see, you throwing the people off.
You threw him off when you said
I
he
ain't
was
threw nobody off. I ain't.
You just didn't want to go back.
Yeah, 1 Kings 11, 36.
go back to first.
Then he said, "Nah, read 17."
Because you said, I'm already there.
Listen to me.
All right, so where we at?
Go get him 2
Tell him
Kings.
where he at.
Go get him 2 Kings 17 because he just refused. He said, I'm not going back.
I know that.
No, it's too late now. It's too late now. You there.
So where we at?
2 Kings 17 to 22. I ain't messing with that nigga for another 15 and a half seconds. I promise.
All right. For the children of Yasharah walked in the sins of Jeroboam, and which he did, they departed not from them.
Make it 24. We got to speed it up. It's 4:40.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Katah, and from Avah, and from Hamath, and from Seraphim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Yasharah. And they possessed Samaria.
Now we didn't read verse 23, but he say he removed them all out of his sight by according to the word that he spoke to them by all his servants to You know how I know niggas wicked? Cause you can't correct niggas now, and they read and teach stories about how these prophets told these people what was gonna happen to them. Then when somebody do the same thing now, see brother, see you just preach negativity. I know these niggas wicked. Cause you think them dudes say, hey y'all love you. By the way, he gonna take y'all up out of here. Keep it popping though, baby. I see you doing your thing, man. Worshiping that idol around the corner, you know what I mean? You hold it down, you know. That nigga got a lot of pork in his mouth, but it's all good though. I love you. Y'all loves you. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't do none of that.
Still throwing that nigga.
They was still
They so wicked. They would have thought that nigga being cool.
being cool. Stone him. Come on, man.
It say, and so at 25, it say, so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not Yahuwah. Therefore Yahuwah sent lions among them, which slew some of them.
Yep.
Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not.
They don't know what?
Know not the manner.
They don't know the manner of life or the rules of the Elohim of the what? The land, right? Come on with it.
Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of Elohim.
So what did the king of Syria do?
And now the king of Assyria commanded to send carry thither one of the priests.
One of the who?
The priests.
A nigga from around the way.
Whom he brought from thence, and let them go down there and let him teach the manner of Elohim.
Let him do what?
Teach the manner.
Now who did he get to go teach?
A priest.
What does Hezekiah in the book in Chronicles tell you in 2 Chronicles 30 where they say the Levites that do what? Teach the good law of Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Now like I told my cousin this morning, now with the priesthood of Melchizedek, which y'all already done learned, you doesn't matter what tribe you're from. You know what I'm saying? But by definition, if you're teaching the law, then you're a priest. And if you see a nigga who don't know the law or can't really understand the law, then one thing you know he is not is a priest. Because it said the priest lives supposed to keep what? And people supposed to seek what? The law at his what? Mouth. You don't know what you talking about. You ain't no priest. Sit your ragged behind down somewhere. He ain't sent you to go do that. Because he say the priest is the messenger of Yahuwah. To be a messenger, somebody got to do what? Send you.
Get away.
She was just so shocked. I thought you loved me.
And with a snub.
I thought you loved me. Go ahead, man.
Look at Mike.
No, he's still going.
Alright. It said we had 28. And then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel and taught them how they should fear Yahuwah.
They they did what?
Taught them how they should fear Yahuwah. Howbeit every nation made Elohim of their own and put them in houses in high places where Samaritans had made every nation in their cities.
So this is why that Samaritan woman said, because that's what she had been taught. She identified herself with that. Because they had been taught the manner of the land. So then clearly, you know, they were continual priests there teaching them this. So when she opened her mouth, that's why he told her, oh, baby, you don't know what you got going on. Go ahead and get that John 4 for me. He said, baby, you don't know what you're talking about. This ain't got nothing to do with you.
You ain't no Yahudim, you a Samaritan.
No, son, I remember that they had to teach them the way of the land. Like, wasn't like bad stuff happening?
We just read it. The lions came and got it. I was just briefing you.
I'm sorry.
I was like that too. I ain't saying-
You know, she was out the door for me.
Yeah, no, that's why I said I was briefing her. No shit.
I thought about it.
You worship what you know not what.
That's why he told her that, because that's why he told him not to go into the way of the Samaritans, because those were not Jews. Those were converts. Those were people who were there. Which also shows that you can't say that somebody outside the nation can be saved, because these people were walking in that the whole time. Some of them were, some of them were. And they were doing also the flip-flopping. They were following the ways of the land, but serving their own God at the same time.
But that means that's what the Levites that was doing anyway. That's what the Levites were doing before they got took.
Yeah. John 4 and 10. Yeah, among other things.
You want that high?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, about 4 and 10. You gotta get back to see what was going on when he was talking to him.
Alright, so Yahushua answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of Elohim, and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, then thou would have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
And what did she say?
The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with.
You ain't got nothing to draw with, baby. It's deep.
Then hast thou living water.
So where you get that water from?
Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
She heard what she said. That's why we had to go right there. You heard she just said her daddy was. She said our father Jacob. They didn't say what? Your father Jacob. But guess what? Why wouldn't she think that was her father? She done went many generations where that's been passed down to them. They're going to identify with it. Because all they're going to read is your father Jacob, your father Abraham, the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They would no longer identify with the group of nations that they came from over a period of time. They're going to identify with the Elohim of Yasharal, because that's what they're being taught where they dwell. Yeah, just like you got going on now. Yeah, that's why you identify with your oppressor and you identify with Jesus. They're them too. I mean, but they know that that's not theirs though. They just don't state it publicly. Jewish people.
I don't think so, bro. I think that's the new generation feel like that's their claim to fame, son.
No, but I'm saying, you can say that new generation, but I done seen too many of them crackers state that we know we not the people, and they kind of let that be known amongst their people, like they know.
They don't do it openly.
They just don't do it openly. Like a lot of them know, and they just play the anti-Semitic card and the other things that they play for sympathy to promote their means to end. Now I'm not saying all of them, but most of them, they know that they're not it. But that's what a simulation will do. Like if you want to simulate over 1 or 2 generations, it's going to take 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. You will no longer identify with what you were previously. Those people. Go ahead.
I think this is related. So I was watching a video and they were basically discussing the whole birthright concept of like basically there are organizations that have been founded and created so that if you are Jewish or whatever,
Don't put that in the
and you want to go visit the land, they'll pay the way for it, so that basically anyone who's a Jew will always have that option.
Yeah, I've seen that commercial.
And then there was like this rapper, and he was like, why don't black people have that same concept? And basically saying like every person wherever they should. Why isn't that? And why should we question that?
Why isn't that? Because it's not your home and you don't know what part of Africa you come from. Them niggas don't want you coming back around there no way. Where you gonna go? Kenya? Zimbabwe? Zambia? Which one you know them to say? Like which one you from? You got some parts of Egypt that are not even, that are controlled by Arabs. I mean of Africa that are controlled by Arabs. Where you gonna go back to South Africa?
It's parts of Africa that's still controlled by these people.
Now, truth be told, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you though. Most of Africa, with exception of a few countries, are still controlled by another country.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
a lot of them countries is like little France, little England.
Because Ethiopia is still out. They still holding it down for themselves.
No, I mean Ethiopia. It's only a handful of countries that all of Africa had been conquered. You know what I'm saying? All of them had been conquered.
Y'all got it back. That wasn't that long ago.
And remember when he was ruling during World War II, he fled and went to London, and the Italians took it over.
Exactly.
Mussolini. Yes, during World War II, he dipped, and he went to London. That was 1945.
Yeah.
And then the Italians came into
Yeah, Mussolini. You don't know about Benito Mussolini? Stone cold killer. Military killer.
That's why all that don't be fake.
He ran with Joseph Stalin. You know who Joseph Stalin is?
That's Russia.
That's Russia. Stone cold killer.
My niggas don't know that history about.
But that's just war. That's because most niggas don't read about World War II. Like during World War II, only reason why Stalin got down with Hitler because he thought Hitler would go smash him, and he didn't want no problems with him. You know what I'm saying? But they called themselves the Axis powers. It was Mussolini, it was Hitler, and it was Stalin. You know what I'm saying? And the United States wasn't even a part of World War II. They just got in it because they wanted to make some money, so they had Pearl Harbor get blown up. All niggas talk about World War II as Pearl Harbor. They don't realize how ruthless of a killer Joseph Stalin was. Mussolini was a ruthless killer. Hitler was a killer, but not a killer on any one of their levels. The only thing they talk about Hitler with is the so-called Holocaust, which we know that's a bold-faced lie, because how many Jews they say got killed, it wasn't even that many of them on the earth at the time. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, they know. It's pretty much known that it's a bold-faced lie. There was not 4-5 million of them. Yeah, they came in later. They came in later, but that war was mainly Hitler, and then Mussolini jumped down, and then Stalin ain't want no problems, and he jumped down. You know what I'm saying? Because the United States and Russia wasn't even beefing at this time. They didn't start beefing until Khrushchev came around, and that's when they started beefing. You know what I'm saying? Because see, all World War II was to bring about the United Nations, because they couldn't bring it about when they had World War I with the League of Nations, when Woodrow Wilson tried it. They couldn't get nobody to jump down with it, so he said we need to start another one because we're going to get this one way or another. Most people don't even know about the League of Nations.
It was crazy because I don't know why
Justice
he pushed it when he talking.
I'm sorry, bro.
That nigga had to slide that Justice League in there. Justice League. The League of Nations was tried in 1919.
That's what they is.
This is how World War I got started. There was a freighter that was shot down, but it was a false flag. And then the ruler of what you call Bosnia now, or Serbia, he got assassinated, and that's what started. You know what I'm saying? And the United States wasn't even an opening fighter in that. They had a boat get sunk to an excuse for them to get into that war. You know what I'm saying? World War I wasn't as big. When it ended, you know, they installed Woodrow Wilson, who was a puppet. They said, we need you to get this League of Nations passed. He couldn't get it passed because the people wouldn't go along with it. But he did get one thing passed, and that was the amendment that caused you to pay income tax. And why you have the Uniform Commercial Code and the IRS. He got that passed. Because his actual words was, I believe I have betrayed my country. And then about 20 years later, World War II came. You know what I'm saying? Because in the midst of World War II, you know what was going on between the end of World War I and the beginning of World War II. The Great Depression. You know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff was engineered and executed for a specific purpose. And at this time, black people had been in, depending on when you count us coming here, for at least 300 plus some odd years, or 200 years, about 300 years. If you go 1555 or 1619, whichever one you choose to use. So you think about that time, you've already assimilated to the culture of this place. And then niggas expect people to break that assimilation of a culture that they've been in for 300-400 years. When we're reading somebody in this text who people came in the land during the time of the kings to Hamashiach, you're talking about a millennium plus. Of course she's going to identify that Jacob's her father. What else would you? Why would you expect anything less? Because remember, they grabbed these people from Babylon and from different locations. They're no longer going to identify with being Babylonian.
But the only reason I told you to read that because that's where they try to slide that Hellenization in. Because they saying that this.
But I know they don't. But that's definitely don't know the text because she's definitely not Hellenized.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's definitely not Hellenized. She has been converted. That's 1,000 plus. That's close to 2,000 years in one location. Being taught the same thing, passed down from generation to generation. Read that verse again. See what she said now. Jacob who?
Jacob, which gave us the well.
See, so now who knows what she's quoting about Jacob giving up? What is she quoting? That's in Genesis. That's Genesis 29. No, that's Genesis 29. Where there were some wells, and he watered the cattle and fed the cattle, and that became his well. She's quoting the law. She's identifying herself with that well and the descendants who were given that well. She is identifying herself as being an Israelite.
That goes back to the 3 flocks. Judah, Israel,
and the Gentiles, but she's not identifying herself as a Gentile.
Yeah,
she is identifying, she say Jacob is our father and he gave us a well. She is identifying with being an Israel. The same way niggas identify with Christmas and Easter and everything else. They identify with being European.
But that verse 9 kind of she be like,
already know, go ahead. Yeah, because she already said, but she know they don't have no, because they know that they were not real bruised. When he say they don't have no dealings, they already know this.
All right, the Yahudim.
The Yahudim already know this. Yeah. But they looking at, they don't fool with us, but we the people too. We part of it too. Go ahead, man. So you better talk to him. Man, say he got some money for you. Go ahead, man.
It said,
why you crying like you finna get a beating, girl? Nobody finna spank you.
Okay, we at 14. 13. It said Yahushua answered.
You don't need to read 13. Give verse 19.
Yeah. It said, the woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that Jerusalem is the place where men are.
She said, our fathers worship in this mountain. Get what he tell her though.
Yahushua said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, the salvation.
There's a reason why he told her she didn't know what she worshiped, because you just got some information, but you don't know what you're doing. You were taught it. You don't know what you worship, though. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a simulation. That's what happens. But see, now I come back to 1 Kings 11:36 to sit back and show you why he had to save Judah first. Because he said something that he would do when he split the kingdom. So all we're really doing is touching on stuff we don't talk about. He's splitting that kingdom beforehand. Go ahead. 1 Kings 11:36.
It says, and unto his son I will give one tribe, that David my servant may be a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all.
See, I gotta say them first.
And thou shalt be king over your.
He said for David, because he didn't necessarily tell David he was gonna save him first, but I made a promise to David, so I got to say that first. And you know another reason which we didn't know, another reason he gonna save Judah first, because he said Judah stayed upon their Elohim. Israel didn't, so why would I save them tents first? What faithfulness did they exhibit? None. They didn't exhibit any. Zechariah 12 again. See, but Bruce don't like to hear stuff like this. This how I know niggas don't really be reading. You know what I'm saying? Niggas read, but they glossing. Because niggas reading to have information to spit back to somebody else to inflate their level of honor and esteem in the eyesight of men. Because if you actually read it for the purpose of disseminating the book so that you can cause a man to understand the reading, then you will say numerous things that will make people uncomfortable and possibly not like you. You know what I'm saying? Because when you delve into this book, You go to see, he definitely loved his people. He definitely had a major problem with them at the same time and had no problem expressing that. And sending men to express his great displeasure. But all niggas want to say, we the people. We Israel, baby. You know, the worst part, nigga, kid me, I'm trying to get it right. Nigga, if you been doing it 2-3 years, nigga, you ain't got it right, man, just go and put your jersey in the locker, man, and just going out there and just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Just hang your jersey up. Put your jersey in the locker, man. It's over. You know what I'm saying? I'm best to be honest with you, right? You're going to perfect yourself along the way, meaning you're going to mature yourself along the way. But ain't no way on Yah's green earth it take you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get that right. Because, I mean, why, if you sitting right here, I'm still wrestling with lust. After 5 years, nigga? You mean to tell me you've been reading and studying and hearing the word preached for 5 years and you still horny? You still...
You can't put that time on nobody, bro.
Shoot, yeah, we can. You know, we can put a time on a nigga because he said as soon as they heard of me, they submitted unto me. You been hearing the man 5 years. All you do is keep submitting on yourself.
Might have been a false preacher, bro.
Yeah, might have been quite a bit. The word's still the word, though. 5 years, you still lying? You mean to tell me you couldn't get lying out here after about a good 12 months? Should I give you 12 months? It shouldn't take... We being nice with 12 months. Where you think you going at? With that Scott Steiner hat on? This nigga got a big Papa Pump scarf on, man.
She set herself up for that.
Yeah, she set herself up for that. That doesn't look like your hair, but it really a fishnet. You gonna bring back some salmon? I don't care. I don't care what you like. Kids don't like Brussels sprouts.
You gonna bring back some salmon?
But check it though. I mean, seriously though. Wow, you have a diaper. You have a diaper.
You should be drinking the water Brussels.
Yes, that was nasty. She like she grown or something.
Well, you ain't wiping, bud.
I'm talking about hit her neck. That's nasty, mama. That's nasty. But yeah, man, you sit back and think about that. How long does it really take with certain things, right? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody saying if you smoke weed, you had to stop smoking weed in 2 weeks. It take you 4 years to stop.
Can you pick the blocks up?
My whole thing is how long it take you to start telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Why does the book tell you don't lie to one another? Like, why do they may have to reiterate, nigga, stop lying all the time? You know what I'm saying? I'm for real though. You been in the word 3-4 years, you still lying. Like to tell lies. But you a y'all though, telling lies though. Yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah, they supposed to hit your heart. They supposed to do something. They supposed to activate.
That's how niggas feel. You think I'm just gonna be perfect overnight?
Ain't nobody said nothing about being complete and whole. At that point, I would at least expect you to stop telling lies.
That might have been my stronghold.
I know it. Guess what? I'm glad you said stronghold, because we finna read something about it. I'm glad you said that. Oh, man, I'm glad you said that. Come on and read what I got to.
I sound like a Christian because that's their line.
I got some strongholds. The only thing you holding is your penis and them lies, boy. Stop playing.
I stopped eating pork, though.
I know it, but you ain't stopped eating pork, though, because you still out here eating everything inside. Nasty nigga. Nasty. Yes. Come on, what I got you holding? Let's go back to Zechariah 12. Well, we'll read it then, nigga. You in verse 7.
It said, Yahuwah shall also save the tents of Yehuda first in the esteem of the house of Daoud and the esteem of the habits of Jerusalem. Do not magnify themselves.
No, that's what this is meaning is this, that the people won't magnify or exalt themselves over a Mashiach like they were trying to do. Go ahead.
It said, in that day Yahuwah shall defend.
Oh, we got to drop down about verse 11.
It say, in that day there shall be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Ramah in the valley of Megiddon. And the land shall mourn every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and the wives apart, and the family of the house of Nathan apart.
So everybody gonna be mourning, huh?
And their wives apart. The family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, and the family of Simeon apart, and their wives apart.
Notice that it said everyone that will mourn that knows his name.
All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart.
Now go over here to John chapter 16, verse 20. Now what you think that mean when he say everybody bemoan him, everybody that knows his name? He said because he's going to sit back and tell you how is the strong staff broken and the beautiful rod. And I'm going to actually have to hold on that with that staff and rod because that's long. Because if you know, what's the first thing you hear rod, where is it at in the law that talks about a rod? Anybody know where in the law is it talk about a rod? You know where it's at? The rod that budded. You know who rod that was that budded? It was Aaron's. You know where's everything it talk about a staff? In Zechariah 11, when he said, I broke my covenant with beauty and those two staffs. You know what I'm saying? So we have to kind of, I can work that in when dealing with either with covenant being, which covenant is greater, or the split of the kingdom. I'm just saying like that. I mean, I'm not going to be able to work it in today. So I'm just letting you know that it's coming in the future. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the stronghold coming, man. The stronghold coming. That's coming. Matter of fact, what verse that is? Verse 18 in Deuteronomy and Jeremiah 48. That where it's at. Go ahead and read this John 16 and 20 though.
Verily, verily, I say unto you that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into
now we're going to read in John 17 to see if they know his name there, right? And if they know his name, then they're going to be bemoaning him like they supposed to because they know his name. Go ahead.
A woman, when she is in travail, have sorrow because her hour is come.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world.
Yeah.
And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and
so they got sorrow right now.
Your joy no man taketh away.
Let me ask y'all a question. In John chapter 17, did he not say that he extended the Father to them? He showed them the Father's name? Mm-hmm. So if he showed them the Father's name, you don't think they knew his name? Do we read in Luke 24 when he say what manner of communications did he have said? So you know what that tie into what we read last night about the bread of mourners? You eat the bread of mourners. So if you're mourning, then you will be comforted because you need to be bemoaning him and that you know his name. You know what I'm talking about? You know his name because if you're bemoaning him or you're sorrowful for him. Because what did we just read in James chapter 4? Did he not say, let your laughter be turned into what? Weeping. And your joy into mourning. Because that ties you into Ecclesiastes that the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but fools are in the house of mirth. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in the house of mourning, that's the end of all men you will consider. You know what you'll consider if your heart is in the house of mourning? You will consider the death of a Mashiach. Not just his death, but how he put sin to death in his mortal body. And you will consider that with yourself, which means that's why you would keep your foot when you go in the house of Elohim. And you wouldn't make the sacrifice of fools. And you would consider if you do evil or not. Because there's a lot of brothers and sisters don't consider that they do evil. You know, I mean, I told y'all the other day, right? You know, you got different types of liars, right? You got niggas who lie about absolutely nothing. Just trivial things. Like I had a homeboy say, Junior Seau played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody at that time knew this man played for the San Diego Chargers. Matter of fact, when he said that, I had a pair of Junior Seau Nikes on.
You need this?
That nigga Scarface, I tell the truth, you don't know why.
Yeah, some people do.
That's people feeling like it.
Yeah, they feel because it's their truth. I done told y'all this before. It's your lie, and you can tell it how you want to.
Tell her how you want.
Some people tell lies to the point where they actually. That's the worst type of liar. A liar that tells so many lies that they believe them to be true. That is a delusional individual. Then you got people who lie because of fear of consequence, and then you just got niggas who are pathological liars. That they just lie. That they shoot out lies like grape seeds. That's all they know how to do is tell lies. And they probably the worst liar. You know, and then when I say a pathological lie, because a pathological lie not only tells lies, but they craft a life that is a lie. And they walk around with trying to convince everyone, and they suck people into their lie.
Did you say these rappers doing that?
I mean, most of them are entertainers. They have an image to maintain.
A lie.
A lie. But see, the thing is that this is what I was telling them last night about kayfabe and wrestling. You know that their lives are a lie. You know it's a lie, but you want them to convince you that it's true. Like I told them like with wrestling, because kayfabe is a term in wrestling. Everybody knows wrestling. The finish is predetermined. Not the wrestling moves are fake because the moves are real. Those are actual moves. These niggas actually hit each other sometimes. They try to fade it to blunt the impact of the blow. You know what I'm saying? But these moves are real. Like they have a term that if a nigga wrestles stiff, that mean he ain't good with the moves, he gonna hurt somebody. Cause they got dudes they don't like to work with. Like he's not a good worker, I don't like working with him. You know what I'm saying? But the finish and the story is false, and you know it's false. But you want them to sell you that story, so why do you think niggas sit around waiting for Empire or waiting for Power or any other type of show that they watch? They know this stuff is false, but you want them to convince you that it's real so you can be invested in it to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Nigga know, everybody knows Future don't use drugs. This nigga lets this be known. I don't get high. Man, that man has said on numerous occasions. He said, I don't get high.
Drugs.
Yeah,
he don't really do that.
He don't rap about weed. But he don't really rap about weed. This nigga rapping about being on prescription narcotics. That man said, nigga, 50 Cent had a song when he first came out called I Get High All the Time, man. Said, I don't even smoke weed. Said, I don't smoke no weed. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same way niggas emulate these rappers and forth. The cars they want to purchase and the jewelry that they wear, and they know these
Man,
niggas.
he don't get high.
I'm just thinking how he just really destroying niggas, bro.
He getting paid.
He getting paid, and niggas love it.
You remember how DJ for so
He on his way here in August, and I see my homeboy complaining. You know he was coming. He coming to the thing.
I really thought he was there though. He thought the nigga told me that
Yeah, Future coming here in August. And my homeboy was complaining, talking about when Future, somebody, J. Cole had a concert in Houston, 12,000 seats, and sold out in a day. Why this thing ain't sold out yet? Because maybe don't nobody want to spend $226 to see Future, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but the thing is, the difference is here in Jacksonville, though, bro, that amphitheater, you paying concert ticket prices. Niggas used to niggas coming to a club where you're paying club prices. $50, $60 for a ticket. You talking about an amphitheater or an arena? Or you gonna pay $200-300 for that ticket?
The club, you're standing there.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that.
The hot club. You have your own personal seat. Sit down.
When she coming? When she coming?
Yeah, I see. Front row.
Same time Nas supposed to be coming in. Cause I know Nas, cause he was like the Nas show ain't show. He talking about we'll never get Beyonce and Drake here with that. Nigga, I don't care. They don't never come, nigga. I mean, people just may not wanna. You gotta give people in Jacksonville the time to wanna say, I wanna spend $200+ to see a nigga. A nigga say they tickets on Groupon, nigga. Everybody tickets gonna be on Groupon, nigga.
You better get into the countryside.
But it doesn't even matter on that, because at the end of the day with these concerts, you know who buys all these these concert tickets and these albums? White people.
That's what I'm saying. You better get into the
Most niggas
countryside.
look good, bro.
No, it's not most people here broke. It's that most people here don't want to spend that type of money on a show.
I'm talking. That's what I mean. I feel like when you broke, you budget like that.
Nigga, I'm talking about
You
this.
got it. That's not.
Not true.
Niggas got it.
I was saying not true because niggas was not paying their rent to go see Beyonce.
Niggas got it. Don't think niggas ain't got it. They just don't want to go see the people they're bringing.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to spend that type of money to see the niggas they bringing. You know how I tell you?
I know people. You in college, you want to see Beyonce start at $300.
I ain't been screwed riding to Orlando to see Beyonce. Niggas spending that much money to go to the club to see a nigga.
My sister went to Tampa.
Man, nigga, I'm talking about screw the $200. They may spend $50, $60 for the ticket. Niggas buying a brand new outfit, brand new cologne, hair getting done, stuff for they whip. They doing all that.
But that's
Oh yeah,
that's passport. That's not one night utility.
And they gotta get some love.
That's not one night utility.
But all that's paying for this particular event, you buying drugs, you buying liquor.
I ain't gonna lie.
So by the time you get done, you done spent $600-700 on it. So you got it. You just don't want to spend it on this nigga. If I was in
the average for Jacksonville,
Tell me.
they gonna buy the fence and some drugs. They gonna get like a gram of weed.
they gonna get more than a gram of weed. Most of these niggas spend.
Like that,
Oh, that's a whole
That boy said they go get a gram of weed.
Nigga get a grill, nigga, man.
Man, I'm just saying, niggas
No gram.
That nigga get a gram of weed. Just stay home.
How much they getting?
Stay home. Smoke that by yourself.
A ball of seven.
I know plenty.
I know niggas that get a gram, bro.
That nigga need to stay home.
I got cheap, bro, home.
And we pre-roll about 6.
Why I say I don't get.
Then another reason why they don't like to go to shows like, listen to me, cause we gotta move on. Another reason why they don't like to go to shows like that, cause they can't smoke in that amphitheater.
Yep.
You can't smoke in that arena.
Feel me? Ain't no.
They want to be niggas everywhere they go.
Yeah. It's more utility out of that, bro.
I met a young girl the other day, and I was telling her about the Nas Lauryn Hill concert, and she didn't even know who Lauryn Hill was.
But you right though, she ain't got but an album.
Yeah, and I told her that.
I don't know if it's
It says it started at 6:30 on the Sabbath, September 23rd.
Shoot, we can go out to start it.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, it depends on what the ticket cost. Them tickets $775 to $714.
Give me one for 6.
That's the highest.
That's the highest. 700, but that's right by the stage. If you go,
That's a ring.
huh?
Right now, I'm still good.
Yeah, that's the ticket by the stage is $714.
I don't gotta pay $700, but look at me. I go look at her on TV.
But like 75, you in the back.
In the Rosen process.
No, the amphitheater hold like 6,000 people. My cousin was like, she didn't want to go because Lauryn Hill may not show up.
Yeah, that's what everybody. That's a thing right now.
Yeah, you get your money back, right?
No, you won't.
History of that?
Oh yes.
Right now,
Oh yes.
late.
Or not coming.
Yeah, late.
You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot of people in Jacksonville. You got to sit back and look at it, right? Nas' first album came out in 1993. There are not very many young people who are clamoring to go see Nas. You know what I'm saying? That would be people more my age. It's not a lot of 18 to 24-year-olds that be like, boy, I got to go see Nas, boy. If he would have came here 15, 20 years ago, then it'd have been different. You know what I'm saying? Nas is a great rapper. He's not that big of a star, though. He never really was. No.
Not no star.
He was a top-notch.
He's just a top-notch rapper. He was known. He never sold a lot of records. That's why Jay Clown I'm on a takeover on that. He never sold a lot of records like that. You know what I'm talking about? When you look at Lauryn Hill, she only got one album. Really, she only has one album. Her one album came out 20 years ago. Came out in 1998. She came with that Unplugged, and that was it. Niggas know her because of the Fugees and miscellaneous songs that she do. Because she got a lot of songs, but she ain't put out no albums. And Lord, these two niggas are in their 40s. You look at Mary J. Blige, she almost 50.
Mary J still. Mary J popping though. She popping though.
She popping.
She
I'm
popping,
saying,
baby.
She
'cause
gonna be like that.
her first album came out in 1991. But see, the difference why I'm saying that is her fans still go with her who've been with her these 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about 27 years, 26 years since her first album came out. It might have been like 91, 92 when What's the 411 came out. 93 at the earliest. I wouldn't say 93 because she was messing with Puff. You know what I'm saying? Puff was an executive producer on her first album because she was on Uptown Records. Puff the one did most of them beats because Puff put her out and Jodeci. He was behind that because when he was working with that nigga Andre Harrell, and Puff was the nigga behind Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. That was all him. And then he decided to do Bad Boy right after that. You know what I'm saying? Mary J. been out a long time, but
What his name was before then?
who Puff?
For the Bad Boy, what his name?
He wasn't. He had no
was an
regular.
intern
He was an
for the
intern
label.
at Uptown
Helping
Records.
getting them out.
Andre Harrell was the CEO of Uptown Records, but Puff was the producer or the force behind Jodeci's first album and Mary J's first album. What's the 411? You know what I'm saying? What's the 411 is a classic, and then she came with My Life after that, and it was over with. She was cemented. You know what I'm saying? But see, I'm mentioning that because that's a different type of thing. Mary J been putting out albums the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna be only young people gonna come because plus this is R&B. Rap is a young man's game. R&B, Mary J can sing till she's 70 if her voice hold up. You know what I'm saying? People gonna come see Mary J. Because her fans are crossed over multiple different generations. But Nas, that's not the case. There's not a lot of young people have ever heard Illmatic. They may have never heard It Was Written or I Am or Stillmatic, and we hope that y'all they've never heard Nostradamus.
That's an opinion, bro. See what I mean?
It's a horrible record. It is what it is.
You, bro.
To a lot of people.
I ain't even one of his
You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole key point. So why would you want to go see his show? Now it's younger people gonna want to see Future. How many young? Oh my lamb! Golly.
Just hit you, boy.
Yeah, somebody smell like poo.
You late.
I didn't smell it.
I looked around like 3 times.
But I'm mentioning all this stuff because it's the fact of how this stuff rolls. Because there's certain artists like, listen, right? I like Jay, even without the word. I'm not paying $300 to see that nigga. Because when that nigga came for the Hard Knock Life Tour back in '98, I could have went, see the ticket price. I'm not going. I don't want to see that nigga that bad.
That's how niggas feel. Period.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying for that.
We're not loyal. I don't feel like it's not that many loyal that loyal people. Besides from Beyonce, niggas not loyal.
Jay came here in 1998 or 1999. No, 1998 or 99 for the Hard Knock Life Tour. He didn't come by himself. DMX came, Ja Rule came, Method Man and Redman came, the Locks came, like all these niggas came. And we could have bought tickets. I say, shh. I'm stealing from KFC, but I ain't finna steal to go see that though. That's real though. You know what I'm saying? That was a real lot. That was the first hip hop tour in major venues, because at that time that wasn't happening. Because there was a lot. It was assumed that they had to get a lot of insurance, a lot of police protection, because they felt like something bad would happen. That's the reputation that hip hop tours had at the time, and that didn't occur during that tour. And that's why these dudes can tour like they tour now. Because that was a soul. Because before it would be a hip hop act with an R&B act or a rock act, and that was solely a hip hop tour, like 50, 60 cities, major arenas, everywhere they went. And that would allow them later for the Cash Money Rough Riders tour to happen, and then, you know, the Bad Boys reunion tour and all that type of stuff. But that Hard Knock Life tour was the first of its kind. Like when you see them clips of Dame Dash going off on Kevin Lyles, that was during that tour. Cause them niggas seen them niggas, they went down there and ran down on them niggas when they came here. Like Wu-Tang came here one time, they ain't paid them niggas, and it was a riot. Cause they beat up Biggie Rankers, and then all the people got mad here. Those face them did. You know what I'm saying? And they went to flipping police cars over. Not Wu-Tang, but people here. Because it was at the River City Brewing Company because they didn't perform. Because they didn't get paid. You know Biggie done been here? Yeah, Biggie came here, man. You know what I'm talking about? Only person that never came here was Pop. But Biggie came here. Biggie came here like twice.
How you know Park ain't come?
He never came here. What you mean? There was never a show Pop never came here. What you mean, how would I know? Nigga, I was a teenager. Like, you acting like I'm 6 or 7 or something. Nigga, I was 16 years old when Pac died. I think I would have known if Pac had a concert here, because I've been trying to get to it. Like Scarface done been here. He was just here. T.I. was just here. T.I. used to be here every other week in 2001. Every other week. Him and Juvenile. It was nothing to see him. Let's finish this out, though. It's 5:22. You all right, Henry?
You an A&R, man.
Huh? I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I was supposed to go to Wu-Tang concert, and I got in trouble. Mama ain't let me go, and then them niggas ain't perform, so I wasn't mad. Yeah, I wasn't mad, though. I wasn't mad, though. I'd have paid my money. I'd have been hot. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I was glad I ain't go. Them niggas did not perform. Yeah, Wu-Tang came here twice, because the next week on the Cool Runners tape, that nigga Biggie Rankin was like, I brought Biggie. I brought Boom. I brought Bougie Bonton, and y'all gonna play me for some niggas from New York. F Wu-Tang. That nigga was going off. Next year later, them niggas here, he said they got the Raekwon and Ghost in the back. they swung on that nigga though. That joke was funny though. That nigga went off on that Runner's tape by F Wu-Tang. But that's who brought Biggie here. Biggie Rankin brought Biggie here. That's who brought him. Come on, man. Where you at? John 16? Yeah, we good. Come on back to Jeremiah 48:17. I don't know if it's an artist right now who like she mentioned it to me already. I just happened to see the ad. Like Jay got an album coming out Friday. I ain't gonna buy it. I haven't. Stream. I'm definitely not gonna buy that.
We gotta buy it and listen to it.
Oh man, Jay done took all of his music pretty much off of every medium possible that you got to pay to hear his music, except for his, unless you gonna go to the store and buy the CD. Like there's still some Jay-Z songs on YouTube, but most of them gone. Cause he, you know what I'm saying, gone. SoundCloud, he got stuff on there you gotta pay for it, unless somebody post it themselves. New, old, everything. That nigga took everything off of like volume 1, 2, and 3 used to be on YouTube. He snatched all that off. The only thing that's on YouTube right now is a nigga got Reasonable Doubt posted on there. That's about it.
That probably ain't gonna be on the long one.
No, it made the cut. He been snatched all his music off of there. Like Jay just doing it how a business man supposed to do it. If you gonna get my work, you gotta pay for it. I ain't giving out free samples. You gotta pay for it. But I haven't listened to a Jay-Z album in full since 2003. The last one I heard in full was the Black Album. I done heard pieces of American Gangster. I don't know anything past 03.
So when the Blueprint came out, that came out
01. On September 11th, because I had to ride around this whole city to find a music store open because everybody wanted to close because of the 9/11 attacks. I was really hot about that. Oh, that Blueprint was that. I sold a lot of crack listening to that. Come on.
You sold a lot of crack.
Sold a lot of crack. I ain't listened. I listened to the Blueprint for like 3 months straight. Nothing else. Had you in the zone.
It said, all ye that are about him bemoan him, and all ye that know his name say, how is the strong staff broken in the beautiful.
Now listen to what he's saying, verse 18.
Thou daughter, that thou inhabit the bond, come down from thy esteem.
Come down from what?
Thy esteem.
Go ahead.
And sit in thirst.
Sit in what?
In thirst.
In what?
In thirst.
Oh man.
For the spoil of Moab shall come upon thee, and he shall destroy thy strongholds.
Destroy thy strongholds. Now what do you think he means when he says this right here, right? You've inhabited the bone, the daughter that inhabit the bone, which means wasting. Come down from your esteem and sit in thirst. What did the master say he came down for him to do what? Do the will of his father, right? He just made the question of come down. Come down. So you know what this is going down, what's going to relate us back to? The Lamentations of Jeremiah, Isaac, Lucifer, coming down. But what do you mean when he say to come down and sit in thirst?
Because he was made like man. He had
No, what did he say when he was on the stage? He said, I thirst. So he told him to come sit down and be destitute of water or destitute of the Ruach. But look how he stated how he destroyed the strongholds. Let's look what we see for strongholds. While you get me 2 Corinthians chapter 10. When we look at the word stronghold, it is mitzbar, and it's a fortification, a fortress, a fortified city, or a defense or strong. Now, when we look at Proverbs 25, and I didn't even get to the dog and vomit because I didn't run across the verse that I wanted. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1.
It say, now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of the Mashiach, who in presence am abased among you, and being absent I am bold towards you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
The weapons of your warfare are not what?
Are not carnal.
What else?
But mighty through the Elohim to the putting down of strongholds.
The putting down of what?
Strongholds.
Now you sit back and look at, right, for this stronghold, when they say that he would destroy the strongholds, what happened to this man? He was put down, right? He had to come down and he was put to thirst. Keep on going.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience.
So you see that with a Mashiach, he was cast down literally to bring down strongholds. What was that stronghold he was cast down to bring down? It was sin. So I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about. Give me Jeremiah 48. Give me verse 26. Make it 25.
It says, the horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, says Yahuwah. Make ye him drunken.
Make him what?
Drunken.
Why?
For he magnify himself against
And
you.
Moab will do what?
Moab also shall wallow in his vomit, and he shall be in derision.
What you think he mean when he tell him he'll wallow in his vomit? What you think he mean when he say he'll wallow in your vomit? The word for vomit is ka, and it's vomit or what is vomited up. What do you think he mean when he sit back and say you will wallow in your vomit? Remember, it's now you say that's something that's vomiting. When you throw up, you know you're expelling bodily fluids.
So is it like the
He got
word was
pierced.
planted.
When he got pierced, remember what it tell you in Isaiah 59, how he say truth is falling in the street? I think it's like verse 17 and 21 somewhere in there. Do you know a man who was stabbed in his side and bled out and was left to lay in his blood in the middle of the street? No, not the fat, not the king. No, that was literally.
He talking about the judges. Right.
No, he talking about the king of Eglon.
Listen to
When the dude, yeah, the judge, when the dude stuck the knife in the left-handed dude, put the dagger in his side.
a nigga who got shanked and bled in the street.
There was somebody got hit in his side and bled out and wallowed in his blood in the middle of the street. Just like that's what when he say wallow in your vomit, that was Hamashiach laying in his blood, wallowing in his blood because he vomited out of his blood. He just said he slew him.
No, he's a king. He wasn't a king, was he?
No, give me 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 26. 2 Samuel chapter 20, actually.
No idea.
He said, I had no earthly idea. I just don't know. 2 Samuel chapter 20. Well, that nigga still strong with that fool.
You sitting right under the goddess guy.
Oh, that's where it's at. Blasted. 2 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 10.
I said man up alive too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sheba blew a trumpet. He said he'll have no part in David. Oh, there's another. Look, check this out. In 2 Samuel chapter 20, verse 1, you see another man of Belial. He didn't want nothing to do with David. He didn't want nothing to do with Yahusha. So when you see people who want nothing to do with Yahusha, you son of Belial, you work for this bastard Jew. Because they gotta follow. They gotta follow their daddy. They gotta follow their bloodline. Shoot, and guess what though? You had people who were following Yahusha who could be called sons of Belial who told lies.
Amasa, I ain't, yeah.
2 Samuel 20 and 10.
I see you. Put up on that one. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost over with. It's time to go.
It says, but Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand, so he smote him therewith in the 5th rib and shed out his bowels to the ground.
He vomited up his bowels, and what did he end up doing?
And struck him not again, and he died.
And he
So
died.
Joab and Abishai his brother pursued after Sheba the sons of Berkah, or Bikrah. And one of Joab's men stood by him and said, he that favoreth Joab, and he that is for David, let him go after Joab. And Amasa wallowed in his blood in the midst of the highway.
So he was wallowing in his vomit.
And when the man saw that all the people stood still, he removed Amasa out of the highway into the field, and cast a cloth upon him when he saw that everyone that came by him still stood.
So when we look at that Proverb 26 and 12, 26 and 11, as a dog returned to his vomit, so a fool returned to his folly. They sit back and look at it, right? Hamashiach returned to the place of where his blood was to remove folly from us. That's why he make that stand like, you ain't got no business leaving and going back. You know what I'm talking about? See, he done already did that. He wallowing in his vomit. He wallowing in his blood in the street. Then he made him a derision or a ridicule. That's what it said, right? When he fought, and we know that he ridiculed, because we ain't even got to the ridicule and mocking that we started in Job 34. And we know that they ridiculed and mocked the man. But he did all that to destroy the strongholds, like we read in Jeremiah 48. Because to destroy the strongholds is to do what? The word is supposed to be destroying the things that hinder you. He said, if you heard the truth of Yahusha and you've been taught of him, then you will be created as a new creature in righteousness. He that is in Mashiach is a new creature. Old things are passed away. So how is niggas say they in Hamashiach and you still got strongholds? When his objective was to do what? Destroy sin. That was the stronghold. The fortified city, which had you in John 8 and 34. John 8 and 32.
Michael.
That means, so you mean to tell me you think this man wallowed around in his own vomit? You know what I'm talking about? Wallowed around in his own vomit for niggas to still be dealing with strongholds? When he say he came to destroy strongholds, right? Hamashiach was cast down, right? That's what we read in Jeremiah 48. He cast down. So if he's cast down to destroy strongholds, that's why he's telling you every imagination that exalts itself to cast it down or to let it die like he died. But we don't want to do that because we like our strongholds. You like the sins and the things. Why you think the book say let go of the weight and the sin that easily besets you, that you can run the race with patience? That's why in another place they tell you a man that can't rule his spirit is a man like a city with no walls broken down. Because now you have no hedge of protection to protect you because you can't even control yourself. Niggas can't even control. You have to sit back and look at it. The hallmark which makes Elohim is that he can control himself even in anger. Even in his anger to destroy Yasharal, he still had control of himself before he did it. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't say, oh, I'm mad, I'm going to kill them all. He told Moses, step out of the way, I'm going to kill all these niggas. He said, y'all, please don't do it. He said, you know what, you right, I ain't going to do it. Because he got control of himself. He didn't allow the anger to dictate what he was going to do. That's Yah showing you that if he's teaching you to have self-control, he's manifesting that within his own self. Even when the master healed that man of that withered hand and he looked around and was angered because of the hardness of hearts of the people, he didn't smash them. He had control of himself. Even when Peter cut the man's ear off, he didn't say, Peter, let's get it, baby. We go on the road, baby. He controlled himself. You have to control yourself. That's the hallmark of showing you, Elohim, that you can control yourself. If you can't control yourself, then the spirit of Elohim surely is not in you. If you can't, I don't care what it is. If you can't control, the book already said if a man can't control his mouth, he can't control his whole body. You got to be able to control yourself. You can't control yourself, you need to reassess yourself. Because you can't say God in you and you just a loose cannon and you reckless. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. Why you say anger rests in the bosom of fools? But they say, y'all got it. It says here he got angry. He got angry, but he didn't react off his anger. When he say anger rests in the bosom of fools, because you allow anger to well up and you react off of your anger. You know what I'm saying? You can, that's why the book say be angry. You can get angry. Do you react off of it? I've been angry a lot of times. I ain't reacted off of it. People be sad. Don't mean you got to react off of it. You could be having a feeling in your loins. Does that mean you need to follow after that feeling? It means you need to cast that imagination down before it destroy you. It's not that difficult. So when niggas around here talking about it take time, you just wicked. That's all. You making an excuse because ain't nobody saying you had to stop sinning in a week. Nobody's saying in 2 months, but 2 years, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. It took you 2 years to get that right, cuz. It take 5 years for you to stop lying. No, niggas want to do what they want to do.
And they call weak, huh?
They call who?
Weak.
Yeah, that is weak.
I'll be breaking that down to her one day. I'll be breaking that down.
A strong person will destroy the things that they need to destroy.
Confirm, you preaching. You alright.
That nigga that hard, ain't it? But I'm just being honest with you, right? Now we talking about, you know what I'm saying? It's certain, like we were talking about this yesterday though, right? Like you got some people that feel like it shouldn't take somebody a long time to open up to somebody. That's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that has to be earned. Because when you look at Yah doesn't open up to people in a short period of time. You got to be tried. You know what I'm saying? You got to earn that. He just don't open up the treasure house and say, come on in, because you said you love me. He proves everybody out. You know what I'm talking about? But behavior though, behavior needs to be changed and corrected. And we're not talking about idiosyncrasies either. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking about behavior. Syncrasies. That means those are individual things pertaining to a particular person. Certain things that people do that another person might not do.
Exclusive.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, certain phrases that people say. I'm trying to think of something that people do that don't nobody else do.
You pulling up your shirt
Yeah.
right around. Only you do that.
Yeah, you know, everybody don't do that. That's something that I do.
It's your thing.
You know what I'm saying? His thing is he likes his dry sarcasm. Ain't it though? In my line, he like this here. You don't know. That was in the past. Nobody else does that. Nobody does that.
You know, that ain't me though.
Oh, that's all you, nigga. You sit up. She know you
You
for.
were a mastermind of the sarcasm and the smart comment.
Yeah, she's known you for years.
But it really be recycled.
Yeah.
Whether it be recycled or not, and it's
You know when to
you
do
pull it
it.
out during the right time.
it ain't even pulling it out. It's the voice you use. Nobody else. People use sarcasm all the time.
The voice.
You know what I'm talking about? The whole play. That's you, that buddy. How certain some things, how certain people like their house cleaned. How certain people like stuff to be arranged. You know what I'm saying? How certain people handle business or do things that be individual to them. How certain people talk. You know what I'm saying? You have to know people idiosyncrasies, and you know what I'm saying, and respect them. But sin ain't nothing. Ain't no idiosyncrasy about sin.
Everyone does it.
And shoot, everyone has. Get that out of your mouth, sir. Oh, it's your binky. Go ahead. Get that up. Give me that binky.
Go ahead, John chapter 8.
In verse 32, please.
It say, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." They answered him, "We be Abraham's seed, and we never in bondage to any man. How say thou that ye shall be made free?" And Yahushua answered and said, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is servant of sin. And the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. And the Son therefore shall make you free. Ye shall be free indeed."
So by this man wallowing in his vomit, did he not set you free from these strongholds to cast himself down so you could be freed? And you ain't, only if you believe. But you praise y'all for Yahushua.
You don't believe, ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Nah.